What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Talk Live here on the LTL Media channel. It's Wednesday, October 9th, 2024, and we are, I think, hours away, or it is kind of technically hitting right now, Milton, the Category 4 hurricane down on the south coast of Florida. And I just want to put a message out there to my Floridian friends. Please be safe. If you did not get out and evacuate in time, it is very, very important to be safe during this storm. Do not brave it. It is going to be one wallop of a storm. I hope all my Floridian friends are going to be, well and safe, and my prayers are with all of you. But please, take the precautions to be safe and keep yourself safe, because this is not a storm to mess around with. So, anyway, let's move into the show today. We are going to get into the Canton audit this evening, and I'm going to bring Jen O'Donnell in here for a couple minutes. She has some information that she wants to relay off to the audience. And then I have Rita. She's running a little bit late, but she's going to pop on here in a little bit, and we're going to go through the public comments during the audit that was the other night, the police audit. Also, I want to announce this as well, too. So I did a live with Collier Landry the other night, and him and I are actually working together actively on a project right now. So that should be getting up and going within the next week or two. I'm super, super excited about that. And it's going to be, off brand of what we've been doing. It's going to be a completely new project that we'll put together, and I will start kind of pumping that and announcing it soon when it happens. So nothing is stalling here. We're going to still continue to do LTL Media, but it's going to be a separate project that him and I are going to work on together, and I'm super, super excited about it. And I will tell you more as things progress in that project. But let's do this. Let's bring in Jen. Jen, how are you?
Hello. Thank you, Brian, for letting me come on tonight.
Yeah, you knew that I was going live. You kind of hit me up. I guess there's been some updates with things that have been going on in your Canton bubble. And I said, yeah, I'll let you on, because I know you were in here, about 2 weeks ago. You did an awesome live with me, kind of told me, what's going on in your situation in Canton. And let us know. Give us some updates here.
Yeah, tonight's just going to be quick, because I know you guys already had a scheduled show, and I don't want to interrupt.
No, for sure.
But for my own safety, I really am grateful for you letting me come on tonight.
Of course.
I received my answer back from Chief Rafferty today, and it was not the report that has been promised to be coming my way for the past 9 days. It was actually a rejection to the report. And the wording is basically saying that they're the victim and they need to protect them from me. And that's not what's happening. So I am here to talk about that. So, and then the second part, exemption F, actually has me very concerned, because the wording of that sounds like they're preparing to bring charges somewhere else, or that the Higgins are witnesses in some other investigation that's happening, and they're using that umbrella to protect them. But what's really happening here is they're using the law to harass me, and they're getting protection from Chief Rafferty. And so I'm here tonight because I want everyone to know that I am of sound mind. I do not want to hurt myself. My car is brand new. It is up in all its maintenance. It is a safe vehicle. I am a safe driver. I don't go alone anywhere anymore. And if anything happens to me, it falls on Chief Rafferty's head, because that letter is a green light to Chris Albert and all of his goons. And that's not safe. That's an incredibly reckless thing to do in our community right now. And I tried to have public comments last night, but for whatever reason, I can't change my name on the Zoom when I sign in because I'm outside of Mike Laughlin's house.
Right.
And so I haven't been able to speak the last 2 meetings, which is what their whole purpose is, to minimize it and to make it harder for people. And it is harder, and I haven't been able to speak. I wanted to plead with them last night to step up and show leadership and to keep our town safe, to just do a blanket conversation to everyone and say to cut the shit because somebody's going to end up dead. We already have enough bodies, but this one's going to be someone who's standing up and trying to protect the town. I'm not trying to hurt the town. I'm trying to protect myself and other citizens. So that is why I was really grateful that you were giving me this opportunity tonight. And I also want other citizens to know that clearly I'm not going to stand down. I'm still going to stand up no matter what they do. I will get louder. I will exercise my First Amendment right in order to protect myself. They brought this on themselves. I didn't want to be in the public eye. I have no interest in doing this. This makes me physically uncomfortable.
You're getting a lot of support from the chat.
No choice.
You're getting a lot of support from the chat, Jen, and you know that you have, our support here at LTL. Can you just do me a favor? Can you just give us maybe like some cliff notes as to kind of what's happening, just for people that are just coming into this for the first time, what happened, a brief kind of short and, where this has progressed to now. Yeah.
So there's a lot of attacks that have happened, but this exact situation that's happening right now is there is a married couple in town that I very stupidly went toe-to-toe on social media back last year, September, October. And it got really violent, or not violent, but like really, really toxic, like really aggressive, really personal, really mean. And like, I didn't like it. I didn't even like who I was being. And I blocked them. When I blocked them, the husband followed me around on other social platforms and found me commenting on people's pages and would trash me and make comments about my family, about my life, about my children, about me, about my mental health. And it's endless. But like, I don't go on Twitter now because of it. Like, it's just always there.
Well, Twitter's a fucking toxic place anyway. So
yeah, that's where you go when you want to cry, like a solid, ugly cry. Either deal with Canton Police Department or go on Twitter.
On Twitter.
One of the two. You'll get the same reaction.
Yeah. Twitter's,
They harass me on social media, but like, whatever, it is what it is. Like, I gave it, so you're going to get what you give. And I left it alone, Well, they started following me around at like the town meetings. So the night that the police officer assaulted me, they assault and battery on me. They were the ones who were heckling in the crowd. They were screaming stuff at me. The whole board sat there and allowed them to do it, by the way. And then I had hands put on me. I left the building. I came back to be with my friends. They walked the outside of the building to find me.
Yeah.
They came looking for me. I didn't approach them. They came looking for me. I didn't engage. They kept going. Then I protested outside of Chris Albert's pizza shop after the Canton 9 was cleared, because I'd been waiting to do that because it's my First Amendment right and I'm allowed to. And it was all politics, nothing Karen Reed, nothing Sandra Birchmore, nothing like that. All politics. And I stood there because it was a busy time, the best time to be there. Well, the person in my police report came down, approached me, wanted to interact with me. I avoided her. She went into Chris Albert's D&E pizza shop, came back out, re-engaged with me. I ignored her. I kept it friendly. I have 6 witnesses, and we all know there's fucking cameras there. They have not called a single person. They didn't even ask me for a list of witnesses. I was told there would be no investigation because it was she said, and it sounds like it's just, a dispute or whatever. That's what I was told. I was told to put in a request and come get my report.
Right.
No charges would be filed on me. And I said, that's great, but I'm pressing charges because she's falsifying a report.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm clearly still being investigated for harassment when they're using the law to harass me. And they clearly went in and got orders from Chris Albert. So the chief of police works for Chris Albert, everybody. Helena Rafferty is on Chris Albert's call. Chris Albert runs the entire board because none of them have the balls to stand up. I called 2 of them today. I don't have my report. I heard back from one of them. He said he would call me back. He hasn't called me back. So our town isn't here for the citizens. They're here for the McAlberts. And this is firsthand. And they're waiting to charge me on something else, or they're protecting the Higgins for something else. That's the way it's worded. So this is the bullshit answer I got when I'm the one who's actually being harassed by these assholes. And I can go get a restraining order, but I wanted my report. I wanted all my paperwork so it would be nice and easy and clean.
Right.
Now I have to go to court and say they falsified a report and have them produce the evidence. That's not how it's supposed to go. They're using the law as a shield right now.
Right.
Helena Rafferty is not upholding the law. She's finding loopholes for the townie assholes who want to play rude games with the other town, like with the other citizens. And to me, that's reckless. She's giving them a green light. What's going to happen? I'm going to go online and yell their names from the rooftops. Don't worry, Helena Rafferty's got your back because she's working for Chris Albert, clearly.
Yeah, I think the most important thing to do, like everybody's saying here in the chat, is to make sure that you're documenting everything, filming everything. If you're consulting with a lawyer, I would talk with them. Peter Murphy in the chat says, Jen, we all got your back, and we're documenting every single CPD and SB failure to provide you and the town public safety and adequate investigation and process. I think that's probably the best course of action now. Make sure that you're protecting yourself. Make sure that if you are confronted, you have a phone in your hand and you're ready to record, anything like that, and just have phone numbers on speed dial. I mean, that's the most important thing, because your safety is the most important thing. 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
So you got, go ahead. I'm sorry, Jen.
No, I was just going to say that's all that I came here.
Do you feel a little better? You got it off your chest.
Oh. And peace.
Bye. No, look, you have a platform here. You know that we care about you here. I told you that if you need anything and you need to talk about anything, you have my platform, and I'll allow you to sound off if you need to get things off your chest or get it out to the public. You're welcome here anytime. Do you want me to post up this letter? I can post this letter up on my Facebook so people can have it and see it.
Yeah, I was trying to give Charles Duty time to get back to me before I made it fully public. But like I said, he's had plenty of time to discuss this with the board and with the chief and come back to me, and he hasn't. So it's free game in my eyes.
Okay.
My only way of protecting me.
I'll post this up on the Facebook group, in my Facebook group, LTL Media. You can check it out there. So if anybody wanted to read it over, if there's any legal scholars, where they can go through this exemption F, I'd like some more clarity on it too. And maybe we can get some answers. But I would just say, Jen, protect yourself, protect your family, have a camera available, have important phone numbers on speed dial, because things are crazy there and things happen. And I don't want anything to happen to you. And I know this room doesn't want anything to happen to you. And like I said, if you need anything, you let me know. We'll bring you up. And outside of that, anything else off the channel, if you need anything, you have my number. Just reach out and I got you.
All right. Thank you so much, Brian. Yeah,
no problem. Hang in there and let me know. Keep me updated.
Have a wonderful show. I'll be watching.
All right, Jen. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Things in Canton, always crazy. Small town Canton. But I will get that document up on LTL Media and, go from there. So what we're going to do is go from, hang on one second. Let me pause. Dun, 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 dun. You like my music? How's everybody doing? Any Floridians in here that are gonna go brave the storm? Anybody down in Florida that's gonna brave the storm? Let me know in the chat. We just want to make sure you're safe. We want to make sure you are safe. Dun, 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 dun. And let's see. I am. Sorry. What a way, right? Pause the show. All right. Here we go. All right. So we're going to go through public comments here on the Canton Police Audit. A lot of fireworks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in Rita here in a moment, and we're going to go through this together. So, Rita, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry to be running late. I just
Okay.
got in.
Yeah, I know. We're all back to regular lives. I get it. We have things that go on, and yeah, you texted me, so I'm going to be a little bit late. No problem. We're here, and I want to know about what the hell happened down at the police audit the other night. First of all, you were in a smaller room, or this different room. I've never seen it. Where were you all?
So that is, it's on Pleasant Street. It's called Peakwood Side Farm. And I guess it's called the Tavern. So it's a building in back of the building. And it's a little room. It was actually quite nice. I mean, there was a huge fireplace there. It's beautiful. I mean, I'm sure the building is
historic and
historic.
Yeah.
And the farm I know is historic. And so I got there a few minutes after after things were going on. And so, when I got there, the fire chief was there. He was very professional. He was very nice. And he knew how to address the tensions in the room. So I applaud him for that. And I believe his Chief Wendell.
Yeah.
And so I applaud him for that. He did a great job. And so there was public comments at the beginning.
Yeah.
And they gave us 20 minutes. Bob had agreed to that on the first day of the audit meetings. And I gave Bob kudos for that way back when, because he gave us 20 minutes instead of 15 minutes, which was gracious of him.
Right.
Might have been the last gracious thing he did, but it was gracious of him. And, so people spoke during the comments. And I have to say that Kathleen and Dave did their homework. And they were ready. And, we are fortunate to have people reach out to us who are experts in the field. No matter what it is, somebody comes forward and helps us. Right at the area of expertise that we need, people come forward. And we are so blessed to have that.
Yeah.
And so there was guidance on Robert's rules, and Bob didn't know them. I mean, Bob doesn't know Robert's rules. He says he does, but clearly he doesn't, because at the meeting, the prior meeting on September 19th, I went back and I listened to the meeting, and there were 44 violations that I documented.
So what is Robert's rules, just so people don't know?
Yeah. You know what? And I got to tell you, I didn't know either.
Sure.
So I'm learning, and we're all learning as we go. And it's a great feeling, to learn. We're all learning together. So when you have municipal, on the municipal side, you go by Robert's rules, and those are meeting rules that you adhere to. Okay. I don't know. I'm sure it goes back way back in time.
It
I don't
does.
have that history.
Looking right now, it goes a long time back.
Yeah. But you're supposed to conduct meetings with mutual respect.
1876.
When is it?
1876.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I mean, they still work. you know?
Yeah.
So, so we've learned a lot, I mean, Kathleen knew about Robert's rules. I think Dave knows about Robert's rules because he's on the finance committee,
Right.
and the rest of us are learning, myself included. And so, he had 41 violations. 41 violations.
Wow.
And those violations include Robert's rules, ethic violations, as I see them,
Mhm.
and discrimination, blatant discrimination.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious.
Yeah. So I'll be shooting off complaints tomorrow. So it's unacceptable. You can't treat people like that. So we went to this meeting, and I believe that there was tremendous fallout from the meeting on the 19th. I know people had called and said Bob needs to be removed.
Yeah.
And I know people emailed that Bob needs to be removed. And of course, our select board doesn't remove people. They don't address issues. Everything with them is hands off. And which is sad because the leadership in this town does not address issues. They just let them fester and say, yeah, go fight it out in a room together. Clearly, that hasn't been working. That strategy
Yeah, it's
hasn't
not going to
been
get
working.
anything done. That's just,
It's not.
that's
And
not
that's what the
productive.
thing is. Oh, go work together. Yeah, no, clearly, this is not a workable situation. They don't know what to do. And, that's the difference between the private sector and the public sector. The private sector, this wouldn't happen.
Yeah, they would figure it out. Right.
Kathleen and Dave went in there ready. They were ready. They had the Massachusetts laws, and they knew. Oh, that's my dogs.
It's a pup.
Sorry about that. And so they had the procurement guidelines, and Bob didn't know. And Bob was
Right.
working off construction guidelines, and he knew that he wasn't following the guidelines, but he wanted to do what he wanted to do. And clearly we saw that. And I have to give kudos to Dave and Kathleen because they did their homework and they went in there, ready to go.
Right.
And Bob didn't want to go by the ranking that Mass state law requires.
Mhm.
And he wanted to do his own thing. And, it was obvious, even in the meeting the other night, he did not follow the rules. And, this is a $200,000 project,
Yeah.
and the person who's leading it is not following the rules. And that seems to be a theme in this town, where if you're an entitled townie, or you work for the town, which are pretty much a lot of them are entitled townies, then, the rules don't apply to you. They apply to everybody else. And that's not democracy.
Yeah.
So, the meeting was successful because Kathleen and Dave made it successful.
Mhm.
Bob turned over the role of chairman. Whether he says it or not, he did. We all watched him relinquish to Dave. And Dave did it the way. Dave and Kathleen led the way for democracy and how you raise issues, discuss issues, and vote on issues.
Mm.
And, Dave had them go through the ranking process. And even to the ranking process, Brian, even to the ranking process, Bob ignored the rules. And that's a problem. And we have the same man on a $250 million rebuild of the middle school. This guy does not follow rules. So why would I trust someone with a $250 million project
Not gonna follow the
who
rules.
doesn't follow rules?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. So I'm
Yeah.
not voting for it. Unless there's a change, unless Bob is off that committee, I'm not voting for it.
Yeah. Before we pull up and go through the public comments, and I appreciate your time tonight. I really do. I think this is really, I think people need to know this, aside from maybe people that are coming in that have watched the Karen Reed case and everything that has kind of gone on in Canton. This is very pivotal and very important as well, too, to get this audit on the police station to make sure that things are on the up and up, because as we saw during the Karen Reed case and the trial, and it's still ongoing, and we're looking like we're going to be going back to another court hearing, a retrial in January. People need to know that rules and policies and procedures were not followed correctly in
No.
Karen's case that, you know, that would have, I don't even want to say could have, that would have been that are very pivotal things that were not done correctly. Collecting evidence correctly, allowing witnesses to walk off into you know, houses that they shouldn't be in, proper policy and procedure. You know, this is a huge thing, because if there is a major crime ever in Canton or any town USA, these things need to be followed, and your police department needs to make sure that they're up on the up and up. Before we go to the video, Rita, I want to ask you this, and then I'm going to read off a couple of the super chats, and I want to let everybody know 25% of any donation that comes in tonight will kick back to Karen Reed's Defense Fund. I want to ask you this question. I don't think I've asked you this before, and I have a pretty good idea of what it is, but just for the audience or people that may be watching this, what do you think Bob McCarthy's stake in all this is? Is this just to block everything and put a brick wall up to not get to this audit?
Oh, 100%. It's
Yeah.
obstruction. It's obstruction of justice. That's what it is. And, you know, maybe it's not technically obstruction of justice, but what we're looking for is justice, and he's obstructing it. And, you know, look, Bob may not be a bad guy, you know.
Sure.
Jan Chamberlain got up and said, you know, when he's at other meetings, he doesn't behave this way. But the fact of the matter is he is behaving this way, and it's unacceptable. And so, you know, I think this is just how Bob operates, and which is why Randy put him on here. And Randy put him on the committee because Randy doesn't have the courage or the expertise to do this project. And that's why he gave it to Bob, and he set Bob up, and Bob took it. You know, Randy could not handle this. And, you know, the three of them, we feel, I mean, there's no question that, you know, there's things that Jack has done really well, and I applaud him for that. The other two haven't done that. I applaud Jack for that. You know, we need the audit. And what we did, what Dave and Kathleen did the other night, was they followed procedure. And by following procedure, the company that should have been at the top was at the top.
Yeah.
And even in that ranking process, Bob did not follow the rules. He refused to follow the rules. But I'm thankful the other two did. You know, whether they aligned with Kathleen and Dave or not on the ultimate numbers, sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. But I respect that they at least tried. Bob defiantly, and you can see it in the meeting, refused to follow procedure and insisted on doing it the way he's done it for 30 years. We cannot have someone like that oversee a $250 million school rebuild. We absolutely cannot.
So you think this is Scollins puts him in. We're going to use him to stonewall everybody. This will protect the Canton PD, so we don't get the, you know, so the public doesn't see what's really going on. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you, and you know this already because of your background in logistics and in operational procedure. Right. There's probably a yarn full of red tape that have run through that police department, that shit that just was not followed by policy and procedure. That's why they don't want this to come out, Rita. You know that.
And I, you know, the thing about it is, and what I think, you know, in the private sector, you have checks and balances, and you have controls in place where people cannot deviate from procedure. And if they do, then there's an alert somewhere.
Right.
We need those same checks and balances and controls in the public sector.
Yeah.
You know, this is what, in my opinion, this is what is missing. And this case and everything going on in Canton, in my opinion, has highlighted where we need to fix our legal and justice systems.
Yeah.
The controls are missing. And that is why people should not be allowed to go rogue. Police officers or people in authority, people in power should not be able to look the other way.
Right.
They shouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to be held by the same rules. And when you don't, you have chaos. It's dysfunction. And that's why we are where we are. If people follow procedures, and there's reasons why they didn't follow procedures, and that's going to come out, but they didn't follow procedures.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. But we are learning in this case, as painful as it is, and it's very painful for people in Canton. People have, and I know I've said this before, people in Canton have paid significant personal sacrifices to stand up for what is right. And maybe someday they'll know, maybe someday they won't. But this hasn't come easy for any of us, myself included. We've lost people we loved.
It's stressful.
And it's stressful.
Yeah.
It's very stressful. And when you add in the component of the relationships, it's very painful, but we still persevere and move forward to do the right thing, because that's what you do. And, sometimes doing the right thing is hard, but you still do it. Still do it. And because if we don't do it, we're going to lose what we have. This is America. We have freedoms. We have rights.
Right.
Because we stand up for them. And if people don't stand up for what's right, then the bad will take over.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. So let's do this. If you can hang out a little bit with me, we'll pull up some of the public comments. I'd love to watch through it. If you want me to stop the video, just let me, if you want to commentate over it. Let me just get to, and feel free. If you got to drop off at any point, it's no problem.
I'm good. I'm with you.
I'm going to play the meeting. But let's do this. I want to get to a couple of these chats, because we are doing the 25% tonight. So Sharon, thank you so much. And I know Sophie's in the room. If Sophie can just keep the total, it'd be great. Sharon, thank you so much for the $20. She says, free Karen Reed. I do appreciate that. I got Buzzing for the Truth, $2. She says, just for Rita. Thank you so much. And DW, $20, says, I feel for the people in Canton, like Rita and Jen, the powers that be in Canton seem to be content to lead the town down the drain. These are serious issues, and they are being ignored. Sad. And like I said before, this is not only happening in Canton, people. This is probably happening in your town too. So, as much as I know that we're coming up 30 days away from the election, and I don't want to get too political into that.
I know. I just talk about
local politics. It's very important that you go out and figure out who's running your community, because this shit is probably going on in your community as well too. And you do have the power to make a change. It's a lot easier. Well, I wouldn't say it's a lot easier, but you have I think a better chance of getting your message out in a local community than you do kind of on the national stage. National stage, things kind of get wish-washed, and you got both sides beating each other apart. But you can get up and actually raise awareness in your community. I urge you to do that. Meta, thank you so much. Says Miss Rita, $2. You're inspirational. Good show, Brian. Thank you so much. You. And look at this, all the way across the pond, £2. Says thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Rita,
thank you for your support
from the UK.
We love it. We love it.
I love it. Let's see. And then I had one more that came through for $5. Rosemarie, thank you so much for the $5. And again, we'll kick back 25% to Karen Reed's defense fund tonight. All right, let's pull up the video here. Go through the public comments. And it was a wild one. Just let me know if you want me to pause at any stage, and we'll go from there.
All right. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I come before you because the Canton Police Department is tasked with being the first in the line of response for such crises. Last week, with the eyes of every woman in Norfolk County and frankly the world upon you, I watched in horror at the events that unfolded at the discretion of the chair. What can only be described as absolute hysteria. I mean that as a pejorative. Mr. Muse, Dr. Muse, I believe you to be an intelligent, accomplished, and forward-thinking member of the community. You serve our town, a Brockton hospital, medical education company, and the Commonwealth drafting MOUs for municipalities. Originally, in a fit of rage, I drafted a lesson for your benefit on contamination and sterile technique. But as cooler heads prevailed, you will all be relieved to know you won't be hearing that tonight. Instead, I'm going to draw your attention to an article in the Georgetown Law Review
Colleen in the
titled
background.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm a doctor. Medical malpractice as a jobber-free zone. This is not an ER. This is not a jobber-free zone. Uncertainty, rate of error, failure, these are all quantifiable, they need access to the data is basically what it boils down to, buddy.
I mean, you can feel the tension. People are frustrated, Rita.
Oh, yeah.
The
tension is high.
Tell in her voice.
You can
She's
hear
upset. She's upset.
The jobber standard in Massachusetts was adopted for a child rape case involving biological evidence, friends. I don't even know what to say to you. Do no harm. Didn't you take that? Tenant, we, the women of this community, are here to tell you you are harming us.
That's
under
right.
your MOU, under the licensing board in the state, the standard of care we expect is not what you are providing to our community. I'm appalled, to be honest with you, and God help you, because, sir, like, that was an embarrassment. I've never seen a municipal meeting run the way you ran that meeting. Plenty of people in town, no other people in town, and can still hold their composure and conduct themselves productively with decency in a non-discriminatory way. So please take that in mind moving forward.
Bravo.
Great.
I don't know who she was, but you could hear it in her voice.
And I'm just here to kind of.
Yeah, go ahead, Rita. I'll let you opine.
Yeah,
go ahead.
You could hear it in her voice. Her
name is Rachel.
What's
Her
that?
name is Rachel. Her name is Rachel. She actually she reached out to me. I'm not going to put her last name up there, but she did reach out to me, and we correspond back on Facebook. But so yeah, her name is Rachel.
She might have reached out to me because somebody by the name of Rachel reached out. I try to get everything. I'm back to work now, so it's hard.
Yeah.
It takes me time to get to stuff.
Right,
But I think
me
she might
too.
have reached out to me if her name is Rachel.
Yeah.
But I'm proud that she got up there and spoke, because it's not easy. And that September 19th meeting was so offensive. So offensive for Muse. I won't even call him doctor, because he showed me no respect. He showed women no respect. I will not show him respect.
Mhm.
And Bob, both of them, a disgrace. A disgrace. That is not how to behave on a committee. So I applaud her for speaking her truth.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of fact of sticking up for your community, and that's very important. All right, let's get back to some of these public comments.
Beg, ask, plead with the committee to move forward tonight, to not look backwards, to keep your eyes focused on the prize, which is finding a group that will complete the audit, the police audit for the town of Canton, to not get caught up in name calling, to not get caught up in arrogance, aggressiveness,
Faces
to
too.
work as a collegial, cohesive group that you were asked to do and appointed to by the town. As our chair, you set the tone, Mr. McCarthy. I have worked with you at the Kennedy School before when that project was going forward. I was the principal then. You need to work with this group the way you did with the school community then. I'm a trustee of the library. You are part of that building renovation committee. You need to work with this group the way you work as the building renovation committee person. You work with a lot of groups in town. For whatever reason, you're not working well with this group. I think the reason is because you didn't want the audit.
That's right.
It's over. It's done. It's happening. Now you need to move your committee forward. No more eye rolling, no more name calling, no more disparagement. Work together as a cohesive, collegial, intelligent group. Please finish the task you were given.
Yay!
And I saw John outside.
Pause
peeking
for
through
a
the
minute.
window. Yeah.
She is awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't realize she was a principal, because when my kids went to school, it was a different principal. And I don't think she was principal when my kids were at that school. But she just got up there and articulated it, and she was spot on. And it's great. That's a Canton resident. And another Canton resident I am very proud of.
Maybe you can answer this for me, Rita, because I don't know. I don't live there in the community. But how many committees is Bob on? Do you know?
I think he's been on, well, he's on the building committee. And I think over the course of 30 years, he's been on different committees.
Jeez.
I think right now he's on the building committee and the building renovation and this one. I really don't know. All I know is he was put in this to obstruct.
Yeah.
And that's what he's done.
Yeah. 100%. Well, we might know who this next lady
Yeah.
is. All right, let's see what you
that
had.
sweatshirt tonight.
See what you had to say.
Rita Lombardi, I have nothing planned tonight, so I'm sure you'll be happy about that. But I will say this, that the last meeting, it was a disgrace. I listed out all of the violations that you all had, except Mr. Kelly, and it's over 44. So complaints are going out, and I'm going to be giving the email addresses for everybody. But that meeting is an embarrassment. But what is even more, and it's more than an embarrassment, is that none of the leaders in this town stepped forward to say that behavior is unacceptable. No one did. What does that do for the town of Canton? That makes it look like that behavior is okay. And I have to tell you, it's not okay. It's not okay to talk to people the way you did. It's not okay. It's not okay to violate rules that you're supposed to do. It's not okay to be disrespectful to people. It's not okay. And for our leaders, the chief of police who went into a diversity meeting, and she's in the diversity meeting, and for her to take issue with Kathleen using the word whatever it is, that old word about cavemen.
Oh, Neanderthal.
And she said, thank you very much. I still don't know what it means, or I just don't know how to say it. But for the chief of police not to take issue when she took issue with that one single word, that speaks volumes about the town. For the select board to be silent, that speaks volumes about this town. And I want you to know, Bob, okay, I know you're in the building arena. I know that's what your background is, and you're in the Galvin Middle School. But after seeing the performance in this meeting last week, I cannot support the Galvin Middle School assignment. I cannot support the rebuilding of the Galvin Middle School with this kind of behavior. I cannot.
Look at how he's just a piece of stone right now.
He was staring at me the whole time as if to say, Rita, please be nice. Please be nice. I said, the look on his face, I think he was begging me not to. And, look, he may be a nice guy. And
yeah.
All that, you know what I mean? But I'm looking at what is being presented to me.
It's not about, it's not about someone being nice or bad. It's getting to the truth and getting to the facts. That's the most important thing in all of this. Let me ask you a quick question. Where does this all come? Where does this fire come from inside you? Is this something that has always been there, or is it just because, what has gone on in Canton over the last 3 years and this really started to come out? Have you always been this way?
Yeah, what you see is what you get.
Okay.
That's why I've had a very successful career.
Yeah.
I get the job done. And I think
I'm not taking shit anymore.
Yeah, I get the job done.
Yeah. I love it because I'm a fiery person too. And I'm the same way. And I stand up and fight back, and I don't take shit anymore. I've taken a lot of shit over my career, and I've taken a lot of shit from people, but now I just stick up for myself. And when you stick up for yourself, bullies tend not to bully because you can match their power, or you can overpower and just push back and say, you're not going to push me around anymore. This is the way it is. And I'm going to follow the rules, and you need to follow the rules,
You stand up to bullies, and you equip yourself with facts.
Well,
and that's what we did.
And you can see a perfect example right here, right now. When you stand up to a bully, what happens? He's a stone. He's a piece of stone.
Here because we have a problem in this town.
What's that, Rita?
It was like he was begging me. He was staring at me. He was like looking at me like, please, please. I mean, I don't, maybe he's not a bad guy, but this is about business.
Right. It is. It's business. All right, let's go.
And if we do not pick the right company, and that's even if it's in this mix of 5 or whatever you have, if we do not pick the right company, we're just throwing money away. We're either going to do the audit or we're not going to do the audit. And if this isn't the right time because we don't have enough of valid bids, I don't know. If it's not, then maybe we need to consider rejecting the bids and putting them back out and cleaning up and putting more information into the scope. I don't know. Maybe you have it. All I I know is we need to get it right. So if we have somebody in these 5 companies who can help us get it right, great. If not, do the right thing, please. Do the right thing. It's for our town. If you love this town, show us.
Yeah.
Show us you love this town and do the right thing. Please, I'm asking you.
Good speech, Rita. Love it.
Thank you. There goes
I
Brenda.
keep hearing
Mhm.
comments about how $200,000 is the absolute limit and we're not going a penny over. And the finance committee and the select board have reiterated that we can go and we can ask for more. So I want to make sure that that's on record at this meeting, that we can go and we can ask for more if we have to. I'm not saying we're going to have to. Maybe we have someone that will meet the criteria that we want and the price that we need. But if that's an issue, I want it on record that we were told by the select board and the finance committee that we can go back and we can ask if we need to. Thank you.
Right on, Brenda. Right on, Brenda. And I want to say at the meeting the other night, the select board meeting, Krusty Panties, and I don't know who the other caller was.
Yeah.
They say Twisted Tragedies or
I tried
Lynn's
calling
the big
in.
victim. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everybody watching that meeting knows that they are the food stamp 5, and they're less than desirable, and they don't have a lot to add to the conversation. Now,
Right.
you know, they could change that, get an education, and be respectful. You know, and follow the law. And my understanding is that maybe they don't. You know, so but Brenda and Dennis did not deserve the trashing that these people did. And Mike Lofgren, as the select board chair, should have stopped them. These are citizens who are speaking up for what is right in this town. And we should not allow them to be abused like that, and by people. And Mike Lofgren, you know, the town of Canton needs to stop. If they're going to do this virtual nonsense, then they need to put the face of the speaker up. And
Yeah,
if
I
there's
agree.
no video, then the speaker doesn't speak. That's
I
what
agree.
it is.
No,
So
I agree.
no more of this nonsense.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Brenna, you see you're in Florida here. If you are in the path of the storm, please be safe. We want all our Florida friends tonight to be safe. This is going to be a wallop of a storm, and just take the necessary precautions. If you could not get out of there, or if you were one of the ones that wanted to stay by, and with your property, you have every right to do that. But please, we are praying for you tonight. Be safe, because this is going to be a walloper. It's going to be a walloper. So thank you for joining the show. Hopefully we're giving you some kind of solace and all of that right now, because this is going to be a major storm. We have Mazza Media in the chat tonight. Good to see you, Mazza.
Love Mazza.
Rita laid down the verbal smackdown on Allison and Mildred last night. I'll do this, Maz. You don't need to, but if you want to, we'd love to have you up. If you want to come on and hang on the panel, please do.
Yeah, I love Mazza.
Yeah, if not, no pressure. But if you want to come up and hang out for a little bit, please do. All right. Let's see.
One more thing? You see the gentleman that's the fire chief right there in the back. You see how he's standing?
Yeah.
He's standing. He's respectful. He's approachable. He's not threatening, and he really wants to do. I mean, it appears to me he really wants to do right by his community.
Yeah.
So I applaud that.
Dennis in the chat too. Good to see you, Dennis. Good to see you. Yeah, no, listen, Rita, shit needs to change. It's just like, almost 3 years of this already. Let's just get things done. Let's be transparent to the people in the state. We have a slew of other shit that's going on in our state. Enrico Delgado Garcia, to let people know, I actually got an update. I emailed David Meyer, the special investigator in that. I got an answer back from his law firm today. And listen, it's the typical response. But the reason that I kept emailing and letting people know, and I posted the email up on X and on my Facebook page, but I want to let them know that we are in tune to what is going on, and we're not going to drop this. And this is not something that can just be hidden. And this, the whole thing of covering and not being transparent, that's old news. We're in a new wave of society now, and people want answers up front. We don't want shit to be hidden, and we don't want people to die. That's the biggest thing. I mean, there are lives that are at stake here, and someone lost their life in Canton. And you look at Sandra Birchmore, and you know, this whole thing of hiding shit cannot happen anymore.
No,
it can't happen because people are dying.
Right. In the private sector, when mistakes are made, you do like postmortems. You say, okay, what could we have done better? And then you increase or improve the controls. But in the municipal side of the house, you know, what I see is, okay, well, that's it. Next, do it again. And no corrective action is taken. And that is what needs to change.
Yeah.
They need to fix it. I mean, making mistakes, people make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, you can't, people make mistakes all the time.
100%.
Learn from them, learn from them and fix them.
Yeah, no, 100%. All right, let's play on here. Rita, again, thank you for taking the time to do this with me tonight. I really appreciate it. And,
absolutely.
And you add that, you add that value because you're there, and you've been really one of the rally voices that have stood up there and really fought back against this. And it brings a lot of clarity to people that might just be seeing this for the first time. They get an understanding when they come in, they watch this replay and they go, oh, okay, I can get what's going on. You know, we have someone that was there.
Right.
Thank you, Rosemary. Yes, Florida strong. I love that.
Yes.
Please
Florida, stay safe.
Please be safe.
Stay safe.
Yeah.
All right, here comes somebody. Oh, she has
I've been here 150 years. My family has been.
She beats me.
With all the other things that
are
going
on. 30.
Think about an audit. Okay, so the people spoke. They voted on an election. The majority wins. So what I ask of you today is that collectively you do your job. Yeah,
it's simple.
Get the paperwork right. Give them some ample time to get all the things they need to get done. Dot the I's, cross the T's. Give them enough money allotted to take care of the audit, because we don't have anything to hide, right? So there's no reason to not do it the right way. Everything else we can deal with another time. Today is, I don't want my town to be the catastrophe that's going on for the next 100 years. Every time a social media Google search is done on Canton, Mass, this, I'm pretty sure no one wants this.
Right.
So let's move in a right direction so I don't have to come back here.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to come back here. And we are agreements?
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Another
Simple.
bravo. Can you pause?
Simple.
Another bravo.
Bob,
Can
you
you
have
pause
the
that for a
same
second?
name as my father, a man that I
Audit.
respect. I am not from this town, but I have worked in this town with my longtime partner, Jeffrey Farrington, that has a small business on Walpole Terrace. And I have been harassed by corrupt cops and your other corrupt Canton cop, Charlie Ray, who wanted the property back when Jeff bought that business in 2012. Okay, I've come out and I've been outspoken. I've been silent for years working on Walpole Terrace. And I've been silent for a long time after sexual predator cops have come and harassed me at my place of business when I was there alone. Unwarranted tickets with no bullshit nonsense, okay? No substance to any of these tickets that were issued to me. And I've been silent. And I started speaking out. And I've had mothers come up to me, telling me that their daughter, they don't want to buy their daughter's cars because they don't trust the Canton Police Department and what they're all about. We need to do better for our community. You need to understand, Bob, that Canton, Massachusetts is the laughing stock of the world, not America, the world. You guys are international. International. You need to do better. And I don't know anything about the Gavin school, whatever, and what's going on with that vote. But if you're in charge of children, You need to figure it out, because there are women and children out there that are worried for their lives. As
Wow.
I am a strong, outspoken business owner with my boyfriend, and I feel uncomfortable being in the town of Canton
Wow.
by myself. And I got the backbone and I got the fucking balls. And I'm here, Bob. Do fucking better. Do better. That last fucking meeting you had was a disgrace. And I'm calling you Kim Jong-un because of that. This is not a dictatorship. We're not in North Korea. We're in Canton, Massachusetts. Do better. Collaborative work together.
Wow. Woo.
So, Pauline,
Yep.
you know, all of these people, and I applaud the previous speaker, the one who said she's a Freilich. I don't know her. I applaud her for going to the mic. We saw at this meeting new people going.
Yeah,
to
I said
the
that. I
mic.
saw a lot of new faces that I haven't seen up there before.
And that's what we need. We need
Yeah.
people joining us. So it's not just us. And, you know, Colleen, they're getting harassed. Okay. They're getting harassed.
Yeah, I follow her on her Facebook stories and Instagram. Yeah, she posts pretty regularly.
Yeah. You know, I mean, sometimes, you know, look, the woman's under a lot of stress, right?
Yeah.
And they're doing this to her. And, you know, we've got the MBTA overlay, I think it's called, you know, the MBTA Communities Act or whatever, and you need real estate near the train. Well, the property that Jeff and Colleen own is prime for leveling and rebuilding for the MBTA. And she said that Charlie Ray, the one who bought the house, who changed his front door to the back,
Right.
for pictures that somebody who was his neighbor shared. And then when he did that, you know, the survey, the $7,000 survey that the town just did showed that when that property was redesigned, Charlie Ray's, that it encroached on town property.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
it encroached. And so therefore, they never took action against Jeff because their friend's property and the new owner's property would have to be taken back. And so, and she says that he tried to buy the property in 2012. Well, I wonder if that has motivated them to harass them so Charlie can get the property, or
Yeah.
one of the town builders can get the property. That is not right. So if that is motivating them, and I'm not saying that it is, but it does seem to align, that's a problem. You can't do that to people. And she's right. You know, we had Eric Wade, who is well known as a sexual predator in this town. Thank God he never did anything to my children, because that would be a problem.
Right.
And, you know, I don't know him, but many years ago when my children were, you know, he lived up the street from me, and, you know, he pulls me over with the blue lights, right? I stop at the stop sign, and you know how sometimes you stop and then you roll, so you're not at a complete stop. You probably get 1 mile an hour. And the goon pulls me over and puts the blue lights on with the little kids right there for
Right.
rolling through a stop sign. I will never forget it. That's the kind of cop he is.
Yeah. Nurse Kim, I just want to recognize, she says, sorry, Brian, I didn't call you on Sunday. No problem. So my godmother had a medical emergency Sunday and just passed late this afternoon. I'm so
Nurse
sorry for your
Kim.
loss.
Yes, Nurse Kim, so sorry.
I'm so sorry. If you need anything, you have my number, you call me, but I want to share some information with you soon. When you're ready, let me know. I don't want to rush you, but let's connect. And I want to talk to you about some stuff. All right, let's keep rolling through here. Again, if you're just coming in, make sure to smash the like button. I have Rita Lombardi tonight, Canton resident, outspoken, powerful, powerful voice and
takes a
woman in the
village.
community, and Free Karen Reed supporter. She's one of the ones that are right out there front, doesn't get out, was not afraid to get out in the front and stand up for her community. And I love it. We're going through the Canton police audit from 10/7/24. And just getting the commentary here from Rita, because she was there. And again, 25% of all donations tonight will be kicked back to Karen Reed's Defense Fund. All right, let's keep rolling through here. Rita, just let me know if you need me to stop.
No, I'm good. Yeah, I will.
Great.
Thank you.
I like this guy. I forget his name.
This is to you, sir. My name is John Delgado.
John, that's right.
1475 Washington Street in Canton, directly across the street from the police. If that doesn't open your eye on what happened there, only 6 feet under would do that for you. Just follow up, ask the chief of police, the complaint from the neighbor, 1475. With the collaboration of the Canton police, some builders in Canton, they park a machine in the wee hours of the morning. They destroyed Janet Pratt. Janet Pratt, I'm sure you know the lady, 1475. They destroy her property. The only sin she committed, she went on Facebook and recommended her grandson my work. This is the same man, except from court. The police, the judge told this person from Canton, you come to Delgado's house again and call him a nigger and says you're going to be shot in the head again, you go to jail. They said, will be the second time you've done that. Right after the judge stayed there, Rafferty went all the way down the Cape and delivered beers to the same person who had called me a nigger and warned me I was going to be shot in the head. That's your chief of police, Rafferty. That is important for this audit to go on, sir. Thank you.
Wow. Ooh.
Unreal. Here comes Whitey.
I
lot of
think
people
everyone
outside, you
here
can hear
knows
it.
why.
There's a lot of people outside. I can hear it.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of people outside.
What was
yeah,
going
there's a lot
on
of people
outside at that point? Do you know?
Who was outside?
Do you know? No, I'm just saying, like, what was the atmosphere outside? Do you know what was going on? Were just people protesting or?
So they were pretty much, I think, hanging out.
Yeah.
You know, because it wasn't, I mean, it was set back way off the street and behind a building. So people couldn't see them. But we could hear them in there and, you know, we could hear them.
Rosemary says, excellent show. Love the residents getting more outspoken. Yeah, I think that's a good thing that all these people are standing up now and they're just not afraid anymore. You know, they're starting to come forward and they want this to come through. And look, you know, you had what was it? Over 900 people that voted in the audit, the original audit. And you know, you're starting to see more of these people come forward and speak. And we need this. How many people actually voted, Rita? Was it? Oh, it was
903.
903. That's right. Yeah.
So there were 2,000 people.
2,000 people. 903 put it there.
And people, you can make a difference. We wanted this. We rallied the citizens, and we got 2,000 people. When only 250 show up at the annual meeting in May, we got 2,000.
It's awesome.
It was highly contentious, and it passed 903 to 800.
Yeah, and I love how they had to keep trying to take the vote like 9 times to try to skew the vote.
That's because the select board opposed. You know, John Conley was like a jack in the box. He jumps up and you know, he opposed it. I mean, the whole entire the board. Tom Theodore shouldn't have voted. Chris Albert shouldn't have voted.
Right.
And they voted. They ignore the rules. They ignore the rules.
It doesn't surprise me. CD88 says, hi, Rita. Your call to the select board was spot on. You're awesome.
Oh,
the audit needs to take place.
Let's go.
There is no trust in the police department anymore.
I'm going to give you a wrench, dude.
There's none. These people in this town need someone to deliver truth and transparency.
Not that.
Let us find out what's been going on and repair it, fix it, mend it, so these people can go on with their lives, knowing that the police department can be trusted, the leadership can be trusted, and it's up to all of you to do that. Get the process underway. Come to an agreement so these people can go to bed at night knowing they feel safe.
Wow.
Why can't that happen in a reasonable time frame? And why can't you get collectively in agreement on something to move forward? Forget about arguing and disagreeing. Get something moving forward so these people can go to bed at night feeling safe and sound. That's all it's about. They feel like they're not being protected. And this committee is supposed to be so that an audit can come in and at least let them know what is wrong, what needs to be fixed, and what can be improved moving forward. But at least give them the sense that you care about what they want and move forward and do the right thing. It's your job now to do that. So get the process going so that they can at least feel as if their voice is heard and things are being done.
I want to speak.
Yeah.
If you go back, just back it up a second.
Yep.
So that we can see the table.
Oh, I might have
Yeah,
went too
just a
far.
little
Let
bit.
us find out what's been going on and repair it, fix it,
Tell me when to pause.
mend it, so these
When you get the
people
whole
can go
table.
on with their lives, knowing that the police department can be trusted, the leadership can be trusted, and it's up to.
So here you go. See, okay, go a little bit further.
Oh.
So I just noticed this.
Hang on a
Time
second.
frame.
Pay attention
And
now.
Hang on,
why
Rita.
can't you get collectively
Here we go.
Yeah. So let it go another second.
Yep.
in
and
agreement
Watch
on
Muse.
something to move forward? Forget about arguing and disagreeing. Get something moving forward so these people can go to bed at night feeling safe and sound.
You want me to pause or?
Yeah. So what I saw as Whitey was talking was Muse wasn't even paying attention half the time.
Yeah.
And that doesn't surprise me. I mean, he is, he should not be on a committee, and he
That's
should not be
this
a
guy
dog.
here, right?
No, that's Jack Kelly, and
Okay.
Jack has. Look, I think Jack's done a great job. Out of the three of them, I would take Jack any day.
Got it.
Were there things that Jack could have contributed to and he didn't? Because somebody wrote me an email and said, Jack didn't contribute here and he could have. Sure. But you know what? You align where you align. And Jack, we were able to get Jack to work with us. He
Right.
gave thoughtful input. He recommended that we interview the final candidates, which I agree with. And Kathleen, to her credit, she had put a motion on the floor to just, proceed without the interview process because, she's sold. I mean, look, the company that they picked for 93, they gave them 93 on the criteria score. That looks like a incredibly sound company.
Mhm.
And, but for $200,000, you do need to interview.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that they're going to do a great interview, but you need to do the interview. And so Kathleen recognized that Jack made a very valid point, and she rescinded her motion, and they went back and agreed to an interview. That's collaboration, and that's government working together.
Yeah. Audrey, thank you. She's so kind. She says, I just couldn't miss Brian's channel tonight. I live for the lives, his lives. He's knowledgeable, loyal, and very truthful. Thank you for that. Well, thank you for being here. We try to get, good, relevant information out. That's why I started this platform. And I've had just some rock star people on my panels that have contributed to this. And, they take their time out of their lives. And I really do appreciate that. And I really do. All right, let's keep pushing on here.
That's all it's about. They feel like they're not
This
being
guy here.
protected. And
Look at
this
him.
committee is supposed to
Doesn't
be so that an audit can come in and at least let them know what is wrong, what needs to be fixed, and what can be improved moving forward. But at least give them the sense that you care about what they want and move forward and do the right thing. It's your job now to do that. So get the process going so that they can at least feel as if their voice is heard and things are being done.
Awesome. Whitey, love him. Love
Yeah.
him.
That's good.
So I'm trying to get other people to get up.
Get up.
Get up. Here comes Jack.
Yes,
Yeah,
Jack Hardy.
Jack.
I have no trust in the Canton Police Department, none. 2003, I took one of your officers to court for undue influence against the elderly. He tried scamming my 95-year-old uncle by bringing him to another Canton cop who just happened to be a lawyer and changed the will and kicked me out. I took them to Dedham Superior Court and I friggin' won. Your cop was found guilty of undue influence against them, the elderly, and his name was Tom Kelleher Sr. And I wouldn't trust any of these son of a bitches. They need the audit now.
Bravo,
We're gonna
Jack.
clap for that.
Jack. Bravo,
Yeah,
bravo,
Jack.
bravo. So Jack, can you pause that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Jack,
That rattled the room a little bit there. Yeah, everybody him and hawing.
yeah, he, you know, everything that people are saying has needed to be said.
Yeah.
And Jack, you know, he's not somebody who has gone to the mic before.
Right.
And I do want to give kudos to Resistance to Silence and
Yep.
Dennis for getting the people together to support us. And the people outside, I saw Dana come through. He's absolutely right. They were out there. I didn't look at it as protesting because nobody could see them, but they were out there supporting the people inside. And we so much appreciate that.
Can I just do this? Can I ask you all because I don't know the schedule of the meetings. So can you just do me a favor?
Oh, yeah.
Can someone reach out to me and let me know? Because I'll go down there if I have free time and help stand out. I mean, I want to be involved in this. I want to help out and anything that I can do to help out. So just let me know. Drop me a text or whatever, Rita, and let me know because I want to be down there involved in this. You know, you all come on my panel. I want to help out too. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so
I
let me know.
appreciate it. All this is helping us. Even what you're doing tonight, Brian, is helping us. And not only are you helping Canton, we're helping everybody around the world.
You're right.
This is how you get it done. This is the right way to do it, and this is the wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
And this is about collaboration. And what you see, and I'm so proud in this meeting, is a turning point.
Yeah.
A turning point.
Yep.
And that's what we've been wanting is a turning point to work together. And that's what happened in this meeting.
Yeah. You have every right to do this in your community. And that's what I said. You know, it's very important. I know that people get hung up on who the fucking president's going to be. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's all going to be the same pile of shit that we're involved in. Get involved in your community. It's very important. Find out who's running it. Are they keeping up with their budgets? Are their police departments being audited correctly? Are the committees and the boards and all the programs that run in your towns and cities, are they following policy and procedure? Is there things that are not being done correctly? Is there wasteful spending going on? You have every right to know that. That is your community. That is your neighborhood. And those are the people that run it. And I see it all the time in my neighborhoods too, Rita. The elections are coming up. It's the same flipping names all the time on the signs. And then these people get voted back in. And then all you hear in my community page, like my Facebook community, nothing's getting done. But go out and vote. Airing your grievances and your troubles out on Facebook is not doing shit. Get out and use the power of the vote, or go to your committee meetings and stand there and say, hey, I am upset. We need transparency, or we need to stop this wasteful spending, whatever it may be, but get involved.
Yes. And if I can add to that, I have never been been an activist. I have never been involved in government. But what was happening was too important to ignore. And for me, you know, look, I mean, I tell people I'm 64 years old and I am in my semi-retirement years.
I didn't think you were a day over 18, Rita. I didn't think you were a day over 18, Rita.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, that's why. I love you. I love you. So, you know, I worked, you know, all my life. I worked all my life. I went to college, 14 years nights, working a full-time job, sometimes moonlighting. And then as soon as I got my degree, I mean, my daughter was born 2 weeks before commencement. And, you know, so I was busy in life. I was busy and government worked. And I voted and I tried to get as much information as I could to make educated votes. And if I didn't have information, then I didn't cast a vote because I didn't want to cast a vote for and vote for the wrong person. So I didn't, you know, but this has shown us, and the last 8 years in this country has shown us that we need to pay attention. And what we have learned, I have learned so much. I have learned that there's this thing called Freedom of Information Act, and you can send an email to your local town and you can get information. All of this is public record. You can request cell phone records. You can request emails. You can request anything.
You might not get it, but
you don't have to sit on a board to hold them accountable. And that's what we're doing. We have been requesting information, gathering information to hold them accountable. And now more than ever, people, please, I hope and I pray that what's happening here in Canton, we are all learning from. Pay attention to who's running for office in your local town or city, because those are the people that eventually advance. And if we don't pay attention, and I'm not talking about personalities, forget personalities, right? Even in the upcoming election, forget personalities. Look at the issue. What does that person stand for? What are your values? What do you stand for? And who that is running best aligns with your values? That's who you need to vote for. Forget the personality stuff. Forget the stupid stuff. Who is going to get the job done? And whose values do you align with? I know who I align with, and I'm not looking to push that on anybody. What I'm saying is do your own research. Pay attention. What are the issues? Get facts. Get information from reliable sources. Do not get information that's over the internet that's from Joe Schmo. Get information from reliable sources and form your own opinion. And then please vote. And not only vote, get everyone you know to vote. We need everybody in this election to get out and vote.
No, I agree. And like the thing that's in real quick, and then we'll go back to the public comments here. Let me just read this really quick. Nurse Kim, thank you so much for being here in the room. I love you. We had an opportunity to meet a couple of weeks ago, and I had you in the studio, which was badass. And I have her signature up on the board, which is great. She says, such a good job, Brian. Your collaboration desire to make a difference locally is admirable. And I know Rita and Canton residents appreciate all the efforts. But you know what? You're doing your part as well, too. And don't discount yourself on that. You have an amazing channel, a great platform. People love you. She was the only one when we were out, all of us out together. The creators were all out together. Turtle Boy at the head of the table, and a lady comes over and goes, oh my God, are you Nurse Kim? And gets her autograph when we're there, which is fucking badass. But whenever TikTok fans comes over the table and's like, can I get your autograph? And we're all like, hey, look at that. Like we're just joking around. But it's great. And, don't discount yourself, Kim, because you do a great job and you're hilarious.
Kim,
I
you're
love
amazing.
What does she do? Whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole. Yeah. No, Nurse
Nurse,
Kim, we love you. And again, sorry about your godmother. I know I had a special relationship with mine. I lost her many, many years ago. She was like a second mom to me. And so, deepest condolences. But and I just want to say, even people watching tonight, you're helping us. The support helps us. We feel it. We know it. And that your support keeps us going.
No, I agree. All right, so let's play through this here more. If you need me to pause it,
You're proud of the room.
Love it.
Just shake your head because it's consistent. Okay. And you should be proud that all these people come here. Okay, so they can get the right thing done with the police. Okay, don't do that. Okay, you should be proud of your community that want this audit done. So get it be done. Stop bashing people. Stop belittling women. And get it done. I'm sure your mom wouldn't be proud of the way you're acting.
That's right.
At all. Don't do that. Don't do that.
And even that's Patrick. And he's not from Canton. He supports us. And
but I've been watching on TV what's happened and the way you disrespected at the last meeting, and the world's watching this. We're backing all these people up because they're trying to save their town. And you guys are almost like laughing in their faces. They're out here fighting. They're trying to do the right thing. All these people that are standing out here, a lot of us aren't even from Canton, but we're here. We're watching Rita and Jen and all these people here fighting for their community. You got a beautiful, small little town here that you can save and do the right thing with this police audit. There's nothing to hide. If you find problems, then you fix them. That's the way you fix it. You have loving, caring human beings here, and you're treating them like terrible. I hope you don't talk to your mother with that mouth.
Dina,
But that's
great.
all I got to
I
say.
love that.
And I'm proud of all you women standing up and showing the world how strong you are. Don't stop, especially for people like that.
And another bravo.
Yeah.
Dina is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. You know, she gets up, she is precise, she is positive, and she gets her point across. And Dina is another one who is not from Canton. These people are coming, supporting us, all of you, and we feel it, and it means so much to us. And I'm so grateful. And that's one thing. And Charlene, yes, Charlene, we love you, Charlene. All my friends, my sidewalk friends.
Yeah.
And you know, what has happened with this tragedy is it's brought the best people in this world together.
I agree.
Together. And we don't align on everything. We don't align on politics sometimes,
Right.
but we align on truth and we align on justice.
Yeah, that's
And-
the one thing that has transcended across this whole movement. I'm sorry I cut you off
Yeah,
there.
no.
But that's what's transcended across this whole, movement or happening in Canton in the Free Karen Reed, community is that, it's colorless, it's people from all walks of life, communities, backgrounds.
Yes.
And they're very accepting of everybody.
Oh.
We have different people from all walks of life, creeds, religions, whatever it may be, politics. But when it comes to this certain thing that's going on, that all gets thrown out the window because all in the end of all of this, it's about truth and justice. That's it. And cleaning this community up and getting it right. That's all.
Exactly.
All that matters.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. This movement has brought so many people together.
Yeah.
Everyone is welcome.
Yep.
Everyone.
I agree.
And that's what's so beautiful.
Mhm.
Everyone is welcome, and everyone's welcome with a hug.
Mhm.
And people were so filled with love, that they bring their children. They bring their young children. And it is so rewarding to see children, elementary school children,
Right.
and young adults come and see the right way to protest. We have changed the rules on protesting. And we do it with love, compassion, and hope.
Yeah.
And we have fun. And people don't know what to do with that because they're used to people being upset about something and maybe destroying things or being nasty. And that's not who we are. Do we get emotional? Yes.
Yeah.
Do we get angry? Yes.
Yeah.
But we are loving people.
Yeah. No, I
And we
agree.
mean no harm to anyone. We just want it right.
Right. LA, about a Go Squad member for 2 months says, why was there a venue change? You inspire me, Rita.
Thank you, LA. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why there was a venue change. It is a smaller room. I think someone said that. I don't know. I'm not sure why, but it is in this room, and actually, it was much more cozy.
Yeah, I'm
And
gonna say
I
that.
actually think it helped
Yeah,
because
kind of brought
Bob,
everybody in together a little bit.
it did.
Yeah.
And we were right there in front of him instead of being maybe 3 times that distance.
Yeah.
And he knew that when we went into that room, he was dealing with a very, I don't want to say angry, but not happy crowd.
Yeah.
And, and it was successful because we were allowed to speak.
Yeah.
And we were allowed to speak and contribute during their discussions. And that's all we ever wanted. And we were stifled. And so this is what I was trying to communicate to him. Let us help in the process, because and I don't know if we got the woman up yet. I think she's going to go up. If she didn't speak, the woman who had 39 years experience in the procurement business for municipal, who knows what would have happened in that meeting? Everybody adds something of value.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I agree. Lauren, our friend down in DC, she was actually the organizer of the first free Karen Reed standout on this out in the lawn just in front of the Capitol. And Lauren and I are actually going to be working together to logistically put something together. I think around in February. I'm going to travel down there. I'm gonna road trip it down there and kind of chronicle my road trip on the way down to stand out in DC. At the Capitol with free Karen Reed signs. And that's historic. That was a historic moment in DC. You know how many protests and how many standouts have happened there over the years that have changed so many things? And I think that's really cool. But she says the free Karen Reed message unifies people from all walks of life and all belief systems. And I completely agree. All right, let's keep
100%. And that's what's so beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like we set out. This is just what happened.
Yeah.
These are the people. These are the people that rose up to speak out. And it's people that care, people that have love in their heart, people that, you know, speak truth to power. And that's not easy to do. But, you know, and I have to give kudos to Turtle Boy. I have to give kudos to Turtle Boy
100%.
because he started it.
Yep.
He started it. And I remember watching his shows and seeing how bold he was and saying, oh my God.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And he taught us, you know, the First Amendment. He's a history teacher.
Yep.
And, you know, he, you know, there's some things he did that I don't agree with, but, you know, we align where we align. And he did an incredible job getting this story told. And everyone, it's just, I mean, I can't wait till we celebrate. It's just so beautiful how everyone mobilized and spread the word and came together. And, you know, I spent 9 weeks on the sidewalk. I call it the sidewalk for the trial. And
I did too.
it
I
was
there.
an incredible experience.
Yeah.
And I can't wait until the movies and shows come out so we can relive relive it.
It's a lot.
It was
It was
like
a lot.
nothing else I've ever experienced.
Yeah, it was a lot. All right, let's keep playing through here.
Yep.
I'm just going to grab a cough drop. Excuse me, 2
Yeah, go
seconds.
ahead. Oh, here she comes.
I just wanted to say there you go. I'm a former procurement officer for a neighboring town. I have 38 years experience in procurement, and I've watched some of your meetings, and I have to say how completely unprofessional it's been. As a procurement official, I've sat in on these meetings for my own town, and never has the politics gotten involved the way it has here. Instead, as a procurement official, it was always my duty to make sure that things were done in a very kind way, that things were done in an educated way, and that a process was actually carried forward. And instead, I'm not seeing that. And I don't know who Canton's procurement officer is, but they needed to be a part of this. I'm interested in seeing your whole process, because from what I'm seeing now and just what your agenda is, I have some real concerns that they may be against what Chapter 30B requires to be done. So I really want to see your results. I'd like to see your how you categorize things by highly advantageous, advantageous. I see that you want to change the requirements, and I've never in 38 years seen requirements changed. You can change other things after you've accepted proposals, but you can't change what your minimum criteria is and what your requirements are. So you really need to be careful, because the Secretary of State's office will probably be getting involved in your process. So please act like professionals. Like I say, 38 years. I have never, ever, if people on my committee ever acted this way for the neighboring town, that committee would have been shut down immediately. And it's really sad to see You know, I'm not involved in all of this other stuff, but just as an outsider looking at your procurement process and the committee and the way people are treating each other, it would have been shut down immediately. And I'm sorry that the town of Canton doesn't have somebody on this committee, or even as somebody who is there to assist, to say, wait a minute, we're stopping this right now. And usually it is the procurement person. It's their responsibility as a procurement person to make sure that things are followed by the state law. Chapter 30B is extremely explicit on how it needs to be done. And I'm sorry, but I'm not seeing that the process has been followed on this.
Right.
If you watch that, I don't know who that woman is. And if she's watching, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, we needed her expertise, and that was right at the right time. And everyone has come right at the right time. And she was so instrumental in raising awareness with Bob that these are the rules. And Kathleen and Dave know the rules, and they are holding them to the rules. And he wasn't doing it. And her expertise were invaluable.
Yeah.
And Randy Scollins has no guts. He's a coward. That's why he's not there. He's a coward. And he showed up at the last meeting just to have me thrown out. As soon as Bob said leave, Randy was on the phone calling the police. That's why I said, go ahead, Randy, call the police. Hit it, you know, because he was already calling them. But that woman, thank you, thank you, thank you, whoever you are. She really, really helped us.
Well, she raises good points, and it's on the record now. So
it's
you know,
on the
you can go back
record.
and
She
reference
told
this.
him, the Secretary of State, she knows, they're watching. And
Yeah.
she was warning him, you better do the right thing. And
Yeah.
he still didn't follow the rules. That's bold.
We have completed our 20 minutes. Thank you all.
So what do you do now? Go on with the meeting?
We're going to start a meeting if we have.
Does anybody want to volunteer to leave so the people outside can come in and sit down? Great, thanks.
Keep it classy, Bob.
So Rita, just to set this up, what's going to transition into this part of the meeting now, just for the audience that hasn't seen this before?
So what happens here is they call the meeting to order, or I guess the meeting's already been called to order.
Sure.
And what they have to do is rank the each vendor. So there's 5 bidders that came in, vendors that came in. And the state, for this type of procurement, the state has a pretty, it's standard, a ranking system, the criteria. There's 7 criteria that needs to be ranked. And the criteria is unacceptable, acceptable, highly or advantageous. It's unacceptable, advantageous, highly advantageous, and there's one other. I think highly advantageous is the top.
Right.
And so depending on how you rank for that criteria, they get points. It's kind of like an interview process.
Oh,
you know,
okay,
you want
yeah.
an interview and they rank, you know, they rate you on certain criteria based on your expertise. So it's pretty cut and dry. The criteria is, you know, one was, I think, do they have 5 years or more experience in this type of work? And so it's pretty standard. So it's, you can't cheat. It's pretty objective. They either have it or they don't. And what we see, so each of them, so they took the 5 companies and Dave went through. So what happens here is Bob relinquishes chair control to Dave because Bob knew he was over his head.
Yeah.
And he couldn't do it. And so he relinquished to Dave, and Dave was spectacular.
Okay.
Spectacular.
All right. Yeah, so we're going to go through this again. Rita, if you need to jump, it's fine. You're welcome to stay, and it's going to be a little bit of a lengthy one here.
Yeah, I'll stay on for a little bit more just so that you can just because there's a little struggle here.
Okay.
And Dave stays the course.
Yeah. And again, I will drop this link afterwards if people want to watch this full meeting without mine and Rita's commentary. But I did want to get through this tonight. It is super important. And, you know, I just want to thank the audience for hanging out with us. All right, here we go, Rita. It's gonna move through.
Discuss and vote on adjusting the removal requirements listed in the RFP on the bids received. Do we have some questions? Okay, we had 2 people not meet the requirements that were in the RFP. We were missing certificate of compliance, certificate of non-compliance and tax compliance on 2 of them. And one of them also had the certificate of liability, and one of them also failed to provide the numbers on the FedEx. Initially, they were rejected. Decided after listening to some others to bring it back up and put them back on. Normally, they would just be rejected, but Kathleen, you had a question on that? Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to point out, I have here the Chapter 30B manual, which is from the OIG, the Office of the Inspector General, and the Office of Inspector General oversees the spending of public money, and it's so important that they have a whole agency dedicated to this. And in this manual, which is the official word from the OIG as to how this law, which is known as 30B, what it means, it says on page 54, in determining the responsiveness of a proposal, you must waive minor informalities or allow the proposer to correct them. So it's not a you may, it is a you must. So if we're talking about a one-page tax certificate, that when the secretary was putting the very complicated proposal together, she left out that one page and probably got in trouble. But does that mean that somebody who might be a highly, highly qualified bidder on this RFP to help the town of Canton would then be not allowed
kind of smiling,
to participate? So again, I just want to say, in determining the responsiveness of a proposal, you must waive minor informalities. So if this first item on the agenda is saying, are we in favor of following the law? Then I certainly would vote yes, but I don't know why we need to vote on that. I would assume we would waive minor informalities, and I know in both of those cases, they were almost quickly corrected. They were quickly corrected on these very minor details. So I don't think it's correct to describe this as changing anything in the RFP. This is, these are minor informalities, and we must allow the proposer to correct them or waive them, and that's what happened. They were corrected.
I'm just saying they were minor. When we're talking tax and certificates of non-collusion, those are not minor. And the certificate of liability insurance is not minor. But I have requested that we allow the 2 that I originally rejected back in the mix, and the vote would be just to confirm that.
Can I just point out what the OIG, how the law defines a minor informality? Minor informalities are, quote, minor deviations,
he sat back,
insignificant mistakes, and matters of form rather than substance of the proposal.
He set himself
So it's not
up.
that these firms didn't have.
What's that, Rita?
He set himself up.
Yeah, he's cooked now. See how he sat back? He's defeated.
Yeah. And one thing I want people to see is Kathleen, in addressing what she's addressing, she's also educating the public.
Yeah.
She's
and it's on the record. That's what's good about this. It's on the record.
But she's explaining what she's doing and why she's doing it. And she's got the book.
Excuse me.
And he knows he's toast.
Yeah,
he knows he's toast because Kathleen and Dave did their homework. They worked their tails off.
Yeah, this is what's going on in Bob's head right now. That right there. Some crickets. Some crickets.
Yeah.
Liability insurance. It's that the secretary didn't put it in the thing. That's a minor informality that was quickly corrected.
We did not know that at the time, and the fact that we did not have non-collusion and tax, as well as certificate of liability insurance, is a major factor. We didn't know that they did or they didn't have it, but until they provided it, we had no way of knowing. Now we are saying let's accept them as they are. We can take the vote now, and then we can start working on shortlisting what we have. So you move.
I just have one more question before I do that.
That's body
Yeah.
language.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's attitude, yeah.
So my question is, you sent out an email saying that, and naming the names of the firms, saying that they had this like terrible violation. And I think, because Dave and I have both read the law and we know the law and what a minor informality is, and I'm worried that it would have influenced the rankings if somebody saw an email saying, this firm is, they're excluded. You think, well, that must have done something terrible. And it's a minor informality. And lastly, I will say that, Dave has gone through all of the proposals and found minor mistakes in all of them. So, these are minor informalities.
I still disagree that they're not minor. In some cases, they were major. They're back in. That will not affect the way I rank them, or I think anybody else ranked them. But we'll see. Let's take a motion, put it on the table, and then start discussing.
Could I just to finish up? I just want to ask, and your answer very well maybe no, it didn't influence my rankings at all. Do you feel that getting that email saying that this firm had been excluded, for something?
So cooked.
I didn't know who was excluded.
Okay,
When I went down to town hall to pick up my packages, I had 5 packages there.
Okay.
I had no idea who was excluded.
Thank you for reassuring.
Mr. Chair,
taxpayers.
I have no idea who it was. I just want to point out how
Here we go.
the bid opening of the proposals was canceled. You opened them in secret with
We didn't open in secret.
procurement officer. I wasn't invited. None of the
Yes, they
petitioners
did.
were invited to the opening. You always said it would be a transparent process and we could all be there for the bid opening process. That never happened. And the way you conform this police audit bid opening summary, first of all, it's missing signed under penalties of perjury from all 3 of the members that signed it, the chief procurement officer, yourself, and I believe it's the assistant town accountant. If I'm correct on that.
Oh, yeah, this is what we do. We don't follow the
But
rules.
getting into this, there's about 20 pieces of requirements, required criteria as set forth in the RFP in section number 9. You cherry picked 5 of those. You didn't list out all 20 of them or more. You cherry picked 5 to exclude probably the most highly advantageous bidders that have come through to the town. So that was unfortunate that you set the tone in an email to everyone saying that you alone disqualified the Del Carmen Group and 5 Stones. You had no authority to disqualify them in an email without deliberations of the committee. You're the chair, you don't have that decision to make, so I would move forward a motion to accept all 5 of the bids we've received, because I worked really hard on trying to get as many bidders as possible. You disrupted, you deflected, you didn't want any bids. You even told the news we'll be lucky to even get one. A lot of these bids came in through the work I did, and for you to try to exclude these would be, it would be unfortunate, and it would be an injustice for what was the prevailing motion at the town meeting. So again, I'm going to move that we accept all of the bids, waive any minor informalities and technicalities as we're able to do within the Chapter 30 law, and approve all of the bids that came in and review them on the merits.
Yep. Ed, you're right.
The proposal state. So let's review them and give each of these firms a fair shot. In addition to that, if you look at the RFP section 2.4a, there's a discrimination clause in there.
Let me just pause this really quick. Dewey, thank you so much for the $5. We'll add that to the total. I think that's going to bring us to 55 tonight. 25% will get kicked back to Karen Reed. Defense Fund. It says, how do they get Bob to start out as quietly as he did? Who, if anyone, got to him?
Well,
I just think he knows he's up against the wall.
I think he was taken to task last
Yeah.
week, and it's possible he might have had something to help him be calm, because we could not have a repeat of the last meeting.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And
keep going.
If you turn to the back of the Del Carmen page without disclosing any of it,
thank you,
you'll
Dewey.
see
Appreciate
why that's
Great
very
question.
important. So I suggest all the members of the committee turn to the back of the last page of the Del Carmen proposal and look at the first paragraph in that, and see if that makes sense to to remove that firm based on the anti-discrimination clause.
I second that motion.
Which is the motion? Accept.
That
To
we
accept
accept
all
all
5 of the
Okay.
proposals.
Any other discussion on that?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0.
Making progress.
Now, moving on to number 2. Discuss and vote, if possible, the rankings of the proposals received. I'll leave it with
Watch this.
Kathleen and David to lead the way.
Well, Mr. Chair,
You
first I
relinquish
would like you to establish the guidelines. You haven't provided any guidelines outside of sending over Section 9 of the RFP for our evaluation criteria. There's no ranking spreadsheet that most procurement officers in town use to rank their each of their RFPs. We don't know what scale you're using. If you're using the 0 to 3 scale, the 1 to 4 scale, meaning that unacceptable bids would be at a 0, highly advantageous would be at a 3. So please describe your methodology for the rankings that you are advising our committee to use as chair.
We have 5 bidders. I'm asking the committee to rank them first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. How you do it is a combination of what was in the RFP, your feelings on reading the bids presented, and go from there. So
Actually,
I
Mr.
leave it
Chair,
up to you two to begin.
it's not based on feeling. It's actually based on facts and how each one of the 7 pieces of criteria fit into each of the respondents' documents that they submitted to us.
Rita, this guy is the biggest splinter up his ass.
Oh, he
is
really
just-
is. You know, and so what he just wanted to say, he did not want to follow the rules. And we continue to see that throughout this process. And that's why I love what you're doing, Brian. I love this because we're critiquing it and people are seeing what is going on and reading through the nonsense.
Well,
And he was trying to, he wanted them to just go simple.
Yeah.
So the 3 of them would go, okay, we rank this one number 1, and Dave and Kathleen would rank that. So they 3-2, 3-2, and he's done. That is not how Mass 30B works. And he wanted to ignore the rules
and
so
make
that
his
he
own
could
rules.
force the one that he wanted to the top. That's not how it works.
And the scary thing about it, Rita, you said he's been in public service for like 30 years.
Yes.
So this is how it's been for 30 years with this guy.
Right.
This didn't
And-
just
and
happen
I
overnight.
Right. And I understand, like, he usually does buildings. And so I think the woman that spoke with 39 years experience said that, you know, his methodology for building might have been appropriate. But when you're the chairman and you're put on this, it's the onus is on you to follow the law. And
100%.
for David, and he knows what it is. He just wanted to play Mickey the dunce.
Yeah.
And Dave called him on it. And, I want the audience to see how professional Dave was when he did it. Just like Kathleen, non-emotional, present the facts. And when Bob gives nonsense, they came back with facts. That's how you get it done.
Yep.
That's how you get it done.
Yeah. You do your research. You present it in front of the people, people or person that's bullying and trying to make it their way and bend the rules and say, no, that's not the way it is. And do it in a public forum and it's on public record. I mean, that's how you get this shit done. And then after a while, like you said, the previous meeting, people were pissed. They sent in emails. They stood up. They talked in front of the mainstream media. They've come on shows like independent media like this and voiced their opinions. After a while, the community is not going to stand for this anymore. And they're just going to start standing up. And then he's going to have no choice but to follow the rules because his ass is going to be out there all the time, out there in the public and showing that he's not following the rules. So bravo on all of you.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a team. It's everyone. And, I just want to say there are so many heroes in this story, so many heroes and so many brave people stepping forward to do the right thing. And it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, let's continue on here.
Yeah.
So project management and project management experience would be the first one on the list, and then it goes down to project team experience.
I'll be right back.
Yeah,
and then it gives substantial amounts of evaluating criteria on how to differentiate which bucket they fall into, whether it be unacceptable, non-advantageous, advantageous, or highly advantageous based on, for instance, on the project manager on the number one, based on the number of years experience they have in this type of service. So,
if you don't mind,
Sure.
may I interject a very practical question? So what Dave and I ended up doing is using the RFP evaluation form that the OIG suggests. In case people don't know, there are 4 categories. One is unacceptable. The next up is not advantageous. The next up is advantageous. And the next up is highly advantageous.
This is what Rita was talking about earlier.
Both of our assumption is that the unacceptable is a 0. The not advantageous is a 1, advantageous is a 2, and highly advantageous is a 3.
I'm kind of
Go
hungry.
through, you rank according to very specific terms that are in the RFP that we had, and then add up all of those numbers. Is that what you guys did? Okay, and was that the correct? Because another way to do it, because we didn't get this guidance, it could have just been 1 to 4. So unacceptable would be 1, etc. But so we did it as unacceptable as a 0.
What would be the preference of the committee?
well, Mr. Chair, I did email Mr. Scollins because I wasn't getting any input from you on how to perform the rankings.
Are you
So
eating
ultimately,
too,
we have
Rita?
to come up with a composite score for
I just grabbed a snack too.
proposals that was
I literally just told the audience, I'm like, I'm hungry. I normally don't eat on camera, but I got to get something here. I'm like, please excuse me.
Oh, me too. Phil bought a pizza. It's a little cold now, but that's okay. But this is too good.
I am so, I don't know. Hang on. I'm just going to show the audience this real quick. I discovered these from Cumberland Farms. Holy shnikes. It's probably the worst thing to eat, but these little brownie things they make there, it's like crack cocaine. I literally, and the funny thing is, people go in and I'm like a crack addict. I run to like 3 Cumberland Farms if I can't find them until I find one.
Oh my God, that's so good.
I'm like hoarding them today. I have like 4 of them at my house now because they sell out quick, but they're great. It's a their own brand, Farmhouse Bakery Cookie Crunch Brownie. They're like crack cocaine.
God. I'll have to check it out.
Oh my God, it's so good. They're like $3 a piece. They're great. Anyway, back to the audit.
It's so good.
Back to the audit.
Yeah.
Read it again. Thank you so much for taking this time tonight.
Oh,
I know
thank you for doing this. This is so good.
Yeah, and that's why I love doing this, and I love having everybody in the chat room so they can understand. And I love when you can come in and do this and break it down and just let everybody know what's going on. It's just really great. Dewey, $2. Thank you. Says, can't wait for S.O. O'Connell's take eye roll. So we'll add the $2 in there, $58. Let's
fitted based on each of the 7 pieces of criteria and how they fit in. So just by a show of hands on the committee, I just want to see who has compiled the composite score yet on each of the vendors.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
For each one.
Shame.
Based on the comparative evaluation criteria set forth in the RFP.
Right, I believe that's what I did, but Kathleen referenced the numerical rating system. I didn't use the numerical,
And I never have either. So I ranked the first one, second, third, fourth, and fifth.
So that's why, Mr. Chair, we were looking for leadership from the chair in regards to the methodology.
I had everybody talking about their food
conducting
now.
this type of RFP, so it doesn't, I can conform with any type of methodology you want at this time. I just need to know what methodology we're using.
Rank them first, second, third, fourth, and fifth.
Then how, if I may ask.
Based on what?
Look at
If I may ask,
Look at this.
Then how do we compile it as we are required to do into a sort of a joint ranking?
I would say that the number ones, if we're going to pick 3, would automatically get a 3 point. The number 2, and then 1. 3, 2, 1.
Mr. Chair,
add them up.
The RFP itself that was designed by town council and Rita Scollins specifically states conforming evaluation criteria, which is completely different than what you just said. So I believe you just made up a completely different evaluation criteria. So
look at this.
We have a very stringent
Why don't you
comparative
give us-
evaluation criteria set forth in the RFP in section number 9 that we
I did
need
that
to
whole
follow in accordance with Chapter 30B laws.
Why don't you give us the way you have it, and we'll take it from there.
God, he's got to stick up his ass.
All right, so if
knows
everyone
he-
happens
he
to have their
knows
RFP
he's-
handy,
you
you
know,
can
it's
turn to
Yeah.
the comparative evaluation criteria.
No, give us what you
There's-
have in the numbers you have, and then we'll interpret as we go down further. Who is your number one choice?
Mr. Chair, that's not how you rank these. So we have to take a look at the project manager experience. So pick a firm to use to start. I'll be happy to start with any of the ones that you choose. So we have Effective Law Enforcement for All, we have Matrix, we have CAER, we have Del Carmen Consulting, and we have Five Stones Intelligence. I'd be happy to start off with whatever one you choose.
Go ahead, take one.
You're in the chair, you better.
No, I'm letting him pick
Let's
his.
pick Five Stones.
Could we work up here, please?
Real quick, I just want to add this to the total. Joanne, thank you so much for the $20. This is great show, Brian. Thank you. Well, thank you for being here on this Wednesday night. We do appreciate it. Rita Lombardi being a awesome guest to pop up here and kind of do some commentary with me on the police audit is very important. This is a very important meeting. And, I appreciate her time and appreciate y'all being here. All right, let's get back to the meeting.
Is that what? Okay, we can start with Five Stones. This is the one that, was on the agenda to be excluded. So in regards to comparative, without discussing any of the contents of this proposal, because we haven't gotten to the bids, we have to be very careful on how we discuss this. So the project manager experience, unacceptable would be the project manager has less than 3 years experience in the services requested.
Listen to this.
Yeah.
Not advantageous, which we would rank that as a 0. Not
This is
advantageous,
following the
the
rules,
project manager
people.
has less than 5 years experience in the services requested, meaning police audits, not consulting. We're actually looking for a police audit. Some of these firms are offering consulting services. So, and then to go on to the highly
It's so
advantageous, the
defeating.
project manager has greater than 5 years of experience. So in regards to Five Stones, to go down the list, they have a very well qualified person in that company, and they may be one of the most qualified project managers in all of the bids
Wow.
we received. And I would rank him highly advantageous with the experience, being over 5 years based on the criteria that's set forth in there. In the comparative.
You know what, Rita? It looks to me that these 3 clowns that are up there haven't even looked at any of these documents. They don't care.
Well, I think what they did was they looked at them and they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's what Bob told them.
And they're
to do.
not following the criteria, which is being laid out in front of them right now, in front of the public.
Right. And
Yeah.
I think, for Jack and for Muse, I think that they were following Bob's lead. And Bob said,
Yeah.
this is how we're going to rank them. And so they came in prepared. They don't know Robert's rules. They don't know
Right.
procurement. And so they were just doing what Bob told them to
Excuse
do.
me.
And they weren't prepared. But I will say, out of the 3 of them, the one who really looked at the stuff was Jack Kelly.
Yeah.
And the one who could speak to the contents was Jack Kelly.
Comparative evaluation criteria.
And then, do you want me to take the next one?
So, I think we all need to rank these and come up with a composite score amongst the committee.
Yeah.
And eventually we'll come out with who is the best one, not who I think is the best one, who everyone has based on their actual comparative evaluation, based on the criteria they've read and reviewed in the past week in these documents and proposals that have been provided. So I gave you my Five Stones criteria. Number 1, project manager experience, highly advantageous.
What else are you finding in that same?
So I think we should probably go down the list for each one and
Look
then
at this.
have a
Look at
composite score
this.
for each vendor.
He doesn't want to do it.
Let's get this on the record right now. I rank it highly advantageous. I don't know what the other committee members are ranking this at the moment.
I also rank them as highly advantageous.
Excuse me.
And this is based on the experience as listed in the comparative evaluation criteria.
All right, I have them as advantageous.
Watch
so
this.
You think they have 5 years experience and not greater than 5 years experience?
I just think they're advantageous.
But it's a number though. It's not like, we have somebody with 31 plus years of experience. How
Watch
does that
this.
fit into
This
that?
is unbelievable.
Like these aren't subjective. This is a mark, you meet the mark if you have over X amount of years experience and you're qualified for a certain category.
I'm still finding them advantageous.
He's not following the
You're not gonna
rules.
follow the system?
Based off of what logic?
My logic.
Well, your logic
My
is-
logic. My logic.
But my logic.
And this guy is chairing a
Sure,
$250 million middle school rebuild. No way.
Yeah, I want to
No
go
way.
back a little bit and play that again. I want
It's
everybody to.
unbelievable.
Yeah, this is unbelievable.
And this is
My
like,
logic.
This is like the witness. This is like the statute that they're going after. Witness intimidation. This
Right.
is reading. This is reading it and putting your own interpretation and saying, well, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
It's changing the rules to get the outcome you want.
Says that. It's my logic. It's just going to be my way. It's
Right.
my logic.
I'm going to change the rules, change the interpretation of the laws so I can get the outcome that I want.
That's it, Rita, right here. It's Bob logic.
The Bob logic.
Unreal. All
Yeah,
right.
he did not want this firm 5 stones. And the
Excuse me.
criteria was they were advantageous if they had 5 years experience. This company had over 30 years experience.
Yeah.
So it's highly advantageous. But Bob says, no, he's only going to give him advantageous. It's unbelievable. It's
Yeah.
a blatant violation of the process.
Yeah. Let's hear that again. We'll go back, and there's going to be a little
Oh, it's unbelievable.
moral argument here
That
too.
fit into
I'm going to get another piece of my
Like
pizza.
these aren't subjective. This is a mark, you meet the mark if you have over X amount of years experience and you're qualified for a certain category.
I'm still finding them advantageous.
Hear the hum in the
Are you not
room.
gonna, gonna follow the system?
Based off of what logic?
My logic.
Well, your logic is
I don't have to define to you what my logic is in picking him.
No, there's a
Mr.
system.
Chair, town council has defined the logic to the committee
And I've
in the
had my
document.
system I've been doing for
No,
30
there's
years.
a
so
system
I have
in
a
the
system.
I'm not going to.
There it is right there. That's the Bob logic.
Right.
I've had the system for 30 years. That's how he feels about this.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what stops companies from getting ahead.
Yep.
When you have somebody who says, well, I always have done it that way, so I'm not going to do it any other way. First,
Yeah.
Bob knows that that's not the right process.
Right.
But he's playing Mickey the dunce because he wants the outcome of the vendor he wants.
Right.
And, you cannot do that. You just can't.
Yeah. Jason, thank you so much for the 5. Says, wow, best quote of the night from Bob. It's my logic. Only makes sense to himself. This is unbelievable if it's not, it would be unbelievable if it was not on video. No, you're right. You're right. But at
And you
least
wouldn't
there's-
believe it. You can't make this stuff up.
Right. But at least there's a bunch of people in that room to witness it. So if it wasn't on video, they saw it, they heard it.
Yeah, it's exactly what you want.
Mr. Chair, if I.
Not what I want, what town council wants, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, the system is outlined in great detail in the 35-page RFP. That's why we followed it, because that's what it said to do. Does that not matter? Those are the rules. Do they not matter?
They're the rules, yes. But they're not the only rules that are used in selection.
We got Bob's
Which
rules.
paragraph in the RFP are you referencing for rules that
Rita, this is
we
too
should be
good.
using for
Oh,
evaluation
it's unbelievable.
criteria?
That's why he stayed
I'm
on.
looking
It's
overall at
unbelievable.
Each one and coming up who I think is the best number 1 pick, number 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Your chief procurement officer, Mr. Chair, has sent me out a email showing we need to follow these 7 pieces
I didn't
of
see that copy of
criteria.
that, and quite
I believe
frankly,
you
I
were
don't
copied
think
on
he
it.
did.
You can bring it up.
So if it's more than 5 years, it's highly advantageous. It's just, these are just facts. They're not, but to me, I don't care. I'm gonna rank it differently.
It's
like a job. It's like a job.
It keeps it objective,
Exactly.
I feel like I'm watching a bad SNL skit
Oh,
or something.
I can't believe SNL hasn't done a skit on
Yeah.
this.
Bob's rules, Bob's logic.
I will just point out that we're very, very stern about any bidder not following every tiny little rule, but we also need to follow the rules in the RFP.
Bingo.
That is one of the rules of the RFP.
One of the rules.
I can't believe this.
The overall bid.
Rita, this is too good.
You can't make this
It's
up.
like a comedy sketch at this
You
point.
cannot make this up. Kathleen and
Well, it's
David,
one of the
look
rules.
Look how professional they
Yeah.
are, guys. Look how professional. This is how you discuss things. This is how you hold somebody accountable. You stick to the facts, you stick to the rules, and you don't let them lie their way out.
KK is asking, why didn't the chief procurement officer attend this meeting?
Because he's chicken shit.
Now that's the best quote of this live so far. I don't know. Rita's chicken shit is probably the best quote of the night.
He's afraid of us. He's afraid of us. Randy likes to prey on women, you know, and he knows that you're not preying on us, buddy. And
KK says, well, okay. Rita, can you be honest with us here?
I know. I wish I wasn't so reserved.
Through a composite score based off of the 7 pieces of criteria.
Based on a number of factors that I've used for 30 years.
Well, we're not using what you've used in 30 years for building projects and
you
designer
can-
projects,
you
which
can
are
do
different
them-
statutes.
You can do
We're
them
using
your
chapter
way,
30B
and I'm
in
gonna
this
do
one.
them my way.
That's how chapter 30B works, Mr. Chair.
We just want to have on the record that you're not following the rules that
Good.
all of
On the record.
I'm following the rules that I've used for years.
But not the rules in the
Not
RFP.
necessarily what you want.
No, it's the RFP. It's
No,
right.
no, it's not the only rules to be used.
Oh, I didn't want to follow
Not
these
the
rules. They were
only
hard.
rules.
It is time consuming.
Can you imagine that this man has been doing building for this town?
No,
And this is
I'm
the way
telling
he's
you.
been operating.
It's
What
been
has he
30
cost
years like this. This is
Right.
30
What
years.
has he cost us?
Yeah.
In you know, it's just unbelievable.
It's 30 years. I'm telling you. It's 30 years like this.
Yeah.
It's how this guy operates. And it's not only here on this stage, Rita, it's in his personal life too.
Oh, absolutely.
This is how he is. This
Absolutely.
is who he is.
Right.
He's
going to do what he wants to do, and that's
He's a
just all there is to
sour
it.
puss, stick up his ass type of guy that's going to sit there and stonewall every fucking thing that's thrown in front of him because he didn't get the lightsaber inside the sandbox to play with. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's what this is. This is deep childhood deep rooted therapy shit that he needs to work out, you know, and this is I didn't get the lightsaber. This it's like when a kid goes, I don't want ice cream. That's what he's doing.
Yeah. And
That's
look
what
at
he's doing.
Muse. Muse is finally doing his homework.
Yeah.
Jack's already done it.
Yeah.
Jack knows how he's going to rate people. And, you know, I feel bad for Jack because he's sitting between two clowns. I mean, he is.
I mean, he just
Yeah.
Follow the same
look at that face.
Whatever it is, they follow. So that they question it. You have something concrete in your
He's an old
possession to show
crack.
how these
That's what he is, a
companies
crotch.
And if you're questioned by the person who's the procurement officer said will question you, you will look like you did the right thing. It may take longer, but I think this group of people want you to do it the right way. We know there's a time constraint, but if you didn't do your
Here's a copy of Mr. Scotland's email. I actually blew up to make the font a little bit bigger. I have the original email if you want to review it.
Look at that.
It's a lot smaller.
Bob says he didn't
but
get the
there
email.
are 7 comparative evaluation criteria.
It was
listed in
his
the
job
RFP.
to know.
This is what we're working on, Bob. This is the agenda item.
That's what you're working on.
Oh!
Oh my God.
Mr. Chairman?
It's so bad.
As I said, I have 38 years experience.
Here she comes again.
Yeah, she's
And I
not
think
screwing
that
around.
Maybe one of the issues
Look at this.
that we have here is, I believe that you've been a member of like a building committee for all these years. When you're selecting a designer, the designer rules are not as set the way Chapter 30B is. Chapter 30B has very specific requirements. And as you said, it's based on highly advantageous, unacceptable, and unadvantageous, disadvantageous.
It's unethical.
However, when you're doing a designer for a building, you can base it on the whole overall
proposal that's been submitted. And I think, Mr. Chairman, that perhaps that's where the confusion is coming in, is that, and I've done designer selection as well, not just 30Bs. I've done every type of procurement for the town that you can do. A designer for a building, you can choose who you want based on what they've given you and how you feel. And it does come down to I'm comfortable, and chapter 7C does say that you can choose who you want to choose. However, with chapter 30B, you have to, it is state law.
Oh man,
The
he's
inspector
laying it
general
in.
will come down on you and say, you can't just say this is how I want to do it. So that's why I'm just doing a point of information, which is chapter 30B is extremely explicit. And I'm coming to you as a resident of the state and as a former and retired procurement official, saying you have to follow the requirements of chapter 30B. And that's all I want to say under point of information. I'm not, I mean, I really wish that your procurement officer was here, but you say that an email was sent. And I mean, that your procurement officer is your procurement officer. Again, thank you for letting me make a point of information.
Thank I gave you advantageous. That's what mine is on.
But it's based on a certain amount of years.
Mine is advantageous, Kathleen.
How many years did you have for that individual as the project manager?
I gave him an advantageous. I'm not going to justify to you why.
It's justifying, sir.
No.
Mr. Chair, it's
I have
justifying.
given you advantageous. Move on.
We need to follow the law.
Mr. Chair, it's
And I am.
outlined by town council, who was the attorney who wrote this RFP and put in the specific instructions into here. So you just heard from someone who's been a chief procurement officer in town, and
I gave you an advantageous.
well, I'm just asking for your criteria. How many years did that person have? You know, I spent a good amount of time. I put together a 20-page ranking report with all these. If you haven't provided to anyone on public record request.
And there's no shame in saying, you know what, we're going to take more time and do it the right way. There's no shame in adjourning the meeting and starting over again. I think you may have 3 people.
Sounds like the same lady again.
It is. She's
Yeah.
great. She's a principal.
So why not?
She's
Why not
so
give yourself
great.
A little more time and do it the right way. And meet again when you've done it following the law.
With that said, we're on a tight timeline. Mr. Chair says our next meeting has to be November 4th, which is supposed to be our kickoff meeting. So
Here or the 13th.
we have.
You may not be able to do that.
Yeah, but see, that was the problem, is that people didn't.
Welcome in,
vendors
everybody.
did not
Good to see some of my moderators and Go
convince
Squad
him
members here.
because it was a slam dunk on when it needed to be issued and when it needed to be completed by. And people didn't put it in because of the Christmas holiday.
But now they have 5.
But
And
now
it
it's,
seems like
but
they
now
should
it's
have
not
been-
fair to those that didn't put it in.
Right, I agree.
Okay, well.
So, Mr. Chair, you know, I'd hate to, you know, start this.
Have a good night, Hills.
We're here today, you know, it's tough getting started. I think we should stick to the task, try to complete the task of the committee. But I'm just asking how you came up with that base. I'm just asking for the number of years you thought that project manager had for
No, I'm
experience.
not answering that question.
But
Either you take my advantageous
God.
or we can adjourn until the 13th. I don't care.
All right, so we'll move on to.
I
so we have
don't.
2 highly
That's
advantageous. and,
fair. That's
I hate this guy. He just makes me so
That's
angry. And I don't even live in Canton. I'm just,
Yeah.
it just makes you so frustrated. It's like, what the look at him. Look at his face right now.
Right.
He's
So Charlene put in the comments a while ago.
Yeah.
It looks like the Christmas movie. I forget what you call it. Oh my God. With the 3 ghosts.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Not Christmas Carol. Scrooge.
Scrooge,
Christmas-
right. And so
Yeah.
it looks like he's coming down the chimney and he's one of the ghosts.
Oh, you know what he looks
So right
like?
now we get Scrooge. We got
He
the
looks
ghost
like
of Christmas
Scrooge's
past.
boss when he had the thing wrapped around and he took it
Yes.
off. And
Yes.
his mouth
yes,
dropped.
That's the good one. That's
Yes.
the good one.
Yeah. Holy smokes.
This
The
is
one
the-
with George C. Scott.
Yes,
That's
yes.
a good one.
This is the
Yeah.
ghost of Christmas past.
Yeah. What the hell is is it Christmas? It's
I
not.
can't think of what. Oh, I can't think of what
It's the old
not-
Scrooge,
it's
right?
Scrooge, but there's another one. There's another one.
Because
I can't think of what it's
Scrooge
called.
with Bill Murray is great, but there's one
Yeah.
before that, A Christmas Carol. Yes.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
The Christmas
it's
Carol.
with George
That's-
C. Scott.
Thank you, Charlene. Thank you,
Right.
Charlene.
George C. Scott's in it, and yes, Marley was his partner. Yes. Jacob Marley, the ghost of Jacob Marley. Yeah.
Yes.
What he looks like.
He does. He looks like he's coming out of the
Unreal.
chimney. He looks like all he needs is something on his head.
I love it.
How
Oh,
about the other
no.
two? How about the other two?
Okay, so now we have,
Well, that's-
Mr. Kelly, Dr. Muse.
Will you ask them what they think?
We're talking about the project manager?
Yeah.
Yes.
How many years
Yes, sir.
experience does he have?
Yeah,
In fact, he's
I
31.
gave that an HA, as the project manager.
So highly advantageous would be a 3
Thank you
based
very
off
much.
of the ranking methodology, 0 being unacceptable.
You know, and to get back to what Ms. Cameron had to say,
Chamberlain, but I'll take that as a compliment. Jane Cameron was with her for like 32 years.
well, I apologize, 5 of my
Chamberlain.
kids, 5 of my kids said.
Oh, is that right? Yeah, I like it though. I'll take it as a compliment.
Well, I apologize if I got the name wrong.
It's okay, Chamberlain. It's close.
In any event, you know, I think we all use somewhat the same ranking criteria, and we're working out this worksheet. I hear what you're saying about the numerical rating. I personally did not use a numerical rating. I just used the highly acceptable, acceptable, unacceptable, etc. You know, as to whether we need to adjourn, come back at another date while we're all singing from the same page of music, I don't really care. But I think that we need to have some consistency.
Well, in regards to what you just mentioned, correlate, you know, the unacceptable, advantageous, highly advantageous, to numbers. 0 is unacceptable.
That's correct, yeah.
1 is not advantageous, 2 is advantageous, and 3 is highly advantageous. So if you've already assigned, you know, a ranking to each one of those, then it should be very easy just to plug in a number rather than having to adjourn.
Yeah, but you know, I'll also say in reading some of the CV for some of the team participants, it was very unclear. I mean, it's like reading a resume. Somebody gives you what they want you to see. And having read 1,000 resumes over my professional career, I understand that it's very, very difficult to interpret what you see in a CV. But it's also very difficult to correlate what you see in the CV as it correlates to the requirements that we're expected to adhere to. You know, right now we're on 5 stones, and you know, again, I was very impressed with 5 stones. I thought not only did the project manager, but all of the team members, I thought they offered exceptional resumes and experience in law enforcement. But I was unclear as to how would I rate the team members, because of the fact that all of the wealth of experience that they had was all in law enforcement investigations. And nobody respects that more.
Jody's always on it. Jody's always good. She's always
how
on it.
that related to doing audits.
They've been doing audits. I mean, if they're good,
Most of
if they're good enough for the Capitol Police, they're
the
good enough
audits
for
that
us.
they did were internal. You know, DOJ audits, and I'm
Yeah.
very familiar with those.
IRS.
Yeah, but they're all internal. It didn't
DEA.
appear that they had any exterior experience in doing audits, and I had a great deal of respect for what I was reading. But being the fact that it was on a CV, and I know when you read a CV, there's a lot left to be interpreted.
Excuse me.
They have external. They audited the U.S. Capitol Police. That's pretty impressive.
Well, they're in the process of doing that, but it didn't. I think it referenced to the project manager. It was engaged in that, but
Yeah.
I was very unclear as to. And again, I'm talking about 5 stones now because that's the RFP that we're referring to. But it was awfully difficult to interpret as to how much experience, external experience, that the team members had. I looked at their resumes. I was very impressed, but I was not sure as to how it related to our RFP.
Mm-hmm. So that's a very good point you make, Mr. Kelly. So one thing I would like to point out is if you go to number 2 of that comparative ranking criteria, it kind of it'll lay out for you based on what you've read in there and how to correlate that over.
But I just didn't want to extrapolate what we were rating the project manager, and that did not necessarily translate to team members. I mean, and again, very impressive resumes, but you know what the project manager has done, you can't extrapolate that to say that all of the team members have the same kinds of experience.
I thought they were the most experienced of any of the five, and talking about not just project manager, but also the team members, the most experienced by far of any of the, compared to the other four. Like it was light years.
Quite frankly, I was impressed with most of them. I really was. I don't think that we had anybody who just threw a dart hoping that they would get, hope that they were getting the bid. I mean,
I
some
think
I think
Bob
were better
did.
than others, but there was nothing that I wasn't impressed with.
Yeah, same here.
And then I guess we would move on to Mr. Dr. Muse and ask what
On
he.
your scale of 3.
A 3, so we have 4 3s and a 2, right? 1. So that would be a 14 composite score on that project manager, right?
Yep. I think your math is correct.
Okay, I'm just making sure everyone's on the same page. So next, we move on to the project team experience. As we were discussing earlier, I ranked that as highly advantageous. I gave that a 3.
I also ranked it as highly advantageous.
Here we go,
It was
Bob
a higher
Jules again.
category, but so a 3 for me as well.
Advantageous.
Including several who were certified fraud examiners, by the way. Go ahead.
You know, I gave them advantageous as well, being the fact that I was very impressed with what I was reading, but I just did not understand how that might translate. I mean, many of them did internal work for the government, but in terms of responses to the RFP that we have out there, I couldn't go any.
Well, the way it translates, Mr. Kelly, it's a highly advantageous project team performed greater than 3 projects of a similar to the scope. So 3 police audits would have.
Which have they've done.
You know, I've been involved in many internal audits and inspections and things of that nature, but I would not equate that to going outside and doing an external. I'm not saying that they're not good, they're not competent, but again, my rating was advantageous on
But they
that, for that
included,
reason.
They included specific documentations. I don't know that we could, get into all of them right at this time, but if you go through the proposal, I believe there is at least 3 of them.
that they were citing for the purposes, because they went through to all the categories and said, this is why we would rank as highly advantageous, because we have done these 3 and more, but they were citing the 3 to make it easy for us.
But again, I was left with the impression, again, my impression was that they were all very competent, but I just looked at it as internal inspections, looking at their own entities as opposed to going out and look at other entities. So I gave that.
Well, that might have been on the resumes. They do list on.
I read them all, but in any event, I think they're very competent, but I just gave it an advantageous.
Okay.
So I just want to get to that section.
What's that, Rita?
If I could point out,
Yeah.
So Jack didn't give them highly advantageous, but he justified his reasoning,
Right.
and his logic made sense for
Right.
him. You know what I mean? That's logic you can accept. Even though somebody else might not have done that, at least he took the time to explain, his logic.
Yeah. Melissa, wow, look at this. Hey, I'm going to London in December. Anyone want to do a free Karen Reid standout at the Parliament or the Tariff? I would say this: if you can't get anybody there, just bring a sign. You can be the one that stands out there. I think it'd be great to get some photos over there in London. Let's get this worldwide movement going.
Oh, yes.
I think
Oh, it's
really
already
great.
going.
It's going, but I just keep it going. Let's get some free Karen Reid signs everywhere we can. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, we're going to keep playing through here. Again, Rita, if you need the drop, it's not a problem. I know it's late. Just let me know. And
No, this is
They do
it's
lists
too good.
like the Indian,
It's too good.
appreciate it. No, I appreciate it.
Indian River Police Department, U.S. Capitol Police.
Hold off
I'm sorry,
on reading about. We
Okay.
can just say
They
say the number
list
of
them on
them.
page
Yeah, but
11.
they also don't mention whether they were audits or whether they might have just gone in and done education.
I'm gonna use the men's room real quick. I'll be right back.
Use of force and things of that nature, which again are not audits.
That's
I
correct.
wish they had
So,
told
yes.
us. I wish they had told us what they were, but they did not.
Would you go to an interview stage after this, like rank them and then pull in maybe people to
After we
interview?
rank them all, come with
To answer the
composites, we should be able to open the bids. But yeah, then we could show
people could ask questions. Jackie could ask questions to clarify.
But those are legitimate things he's bringing up and they're valid.
But if I could just point out, without citing it, all team members have over 10 years of experience doing the type of work detailed in the RFP.
But again, I believe that they probably do, but was it internal reviewing their own units, which I know I did all the time. And I think that they probably have done numerous times as well, but again, many of them, I don't know how long they've been retired because, you know, as an active member of DEA, FBI, DOJ, you can't take external jobs and you just can't. So, I mean, it just, like every CV, it leaves you with a lot of questions that you wish you had somebody seated in front of you.
Right.
Well, just to show you, you could go to page number 9 of the proposal. It shows all the references of you know, some of the major audits that they're doing, and I don't even think that includes all of them. There is some other additional.
KK, I saw your
comment. Listed in page 10, or I'm sorry, page 11.
Also, page 12, they said that this experience had a particular focus on audits and operational reviews of law enforcement agencies in the U.S. and abroad. Of course, they're a multinational firm with headquarters in
I
London.
think it's trickier in here that you can't try to talk somebody up or down.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, so you're on. You
I
choose your final answer, and
think
then
we could get bogged down over it.
Right.
and then
Questioning.
I think it comes out in the interview process.
Dr.
We could be
Hughes is a 3. So we have a 13.
I
Composite score
did.
3, 3, 3, 2, 2.
I did.
Did we get Bob's? Did you get Bob's?
Bob did provide 2 earlier. So moving on to number 3, you know, we can debate these, or we could just go right in and could try to compile the composite scores to try to speed things along. Experience in providing similar studies to municipalities. I'll start with you, Bob.
He doesn't give you.
Mr. Kelly.
So he
Yeah, I
knows
have to go with that as
rating
well,
is
because
going to
it's
give
the same
them
thing.
points. And that's what
Yeah.
he is
Trying to
that's why
stonewall.
he's classifying. He doesn't want this company
Yep.
to get the rating it deserves.
And it's funny because we're talking about a company called 5 Stones and he's stonewalling it.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, the irony, right?
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. It's
Look-
unbelievable. Look at
Look
him.
at his face.
Look, he's just like, he knows. The
Yeah.
look on his face is like, I'm not going to get
Yep.
the company I wanted.
Yep.
And this
Exa-
process is going to screw me.
Yep.
And I'm not going to be able to deliver to Randy what Randy wanted.
Yep. Exactly.
Thing is, the team members, you know, I don't have enough specifics as to what they're doing externally.
Dr. Muse.
2.
Sally.
3, and I want to say it's backed up by the proposal. Details in the proposal.
And myself, I gave that a 2, which we would end up with an 11. Composite score. Qualifications of personnel is assigned to the project. Maybe start, just mix up the order this time, Dr. Muse.
3. They're very qualified as a group.
Ms. Hallie?
Yeah, I'm giving that an HA. That's number 4. I'm sorry.
You know, I think on this one, I made a mix 4 and 5 up by accident, but this is qualifications of personnel to be assigned to the project.
Yeah. So did we got those 2 votes?
Yeah, I gave that an HA.
Yeah. And Dr. Muse said HA, or 3, and I did as well.
And how about you, Bob?
2.
All right, so we have a 14
Mary, thank you so much.
ranking on number 4.
Thank you.
Responsive technical
That's very sweet.
scope of
Thank you.
services.
Mary, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
I'm single too, so
Go. There you go.
I am single.
Mr. Kelly.
Can you give me a minute? I'm just trying to refer
Sure.
to my worksheet, which
Go ahead.
unfortunately I don't have with me.
Ms. Hallie.
3.
Bob's
Here
so
we go.
defeated. Look
Here
at
we
him.
go. Look at Bob. He's looking to see what Jack's
I could give that
doing.
an HA.
Yeah.
3.
He's so
3 isn't
pissed
a
right now.
1, 2.
Muse is the one in school who's trying to do his homework as the class is going on.
Hey, look at this right here. This is like a perfect pause too. You got the hand that, like, oh my god. Bob's defeated. Muse at the
Jack's
end
like,
doesn't give a
"What?"
shit.
Yeah, he goes, "What did I get myself into?"
Right.
Did you count yourself then? That doesn't add up to
Three,
five.
three, that doesn't add up to 5, yeah.
3.
You said 3 threes and 1
I think it's 4 threes.
4 threes and 1 2. You know, mine's in. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, mine's
No
typed
worries, as
out,
long
and
as
I'm
you get those 3 in there.
going off of the ones I wrote out. So, time frame to submission. And the time frame to submission is based on the ability to beat the deadline.
Uh-oh, I
If they
sparked
come
all the
in
women
2 weeks earlier, that's going to
interest
make
in the
that
room.
firm highly advantageous. If they come in on time, I believe
Watch
that's just
this.
advantageous.
So
And if they're over the timeline, that's unacceptable. So, you know, I gave them a highly advantageous on this one.
I did as well. They've committed to delivering the final report at least 14 days prior to the deadline.
Same.
Mr. Kelly's a 3. Mr. Chair.
2.
Were they late?
No, they're gonna be 2 weeks early and he's still giving them.
If they're on time, you can't say 2.
Yeah, I think
Has
it
to
might
be
be.
3.
I think it might be.
I already reported it.
Let's see.
If they're on time, you can't say 2.
Yeah.
You have to
That's
say
the
3.
principle. That's the
You've got 12 to
principle.
14 weeks. Phase 1, 4 to 6. Phase 2, 4 to 6. Phase 3, 4 to 5.
Oh, you ladies
If they
are funny
make
in the chat.
So, Mr. Chair, our anticipated kickoff date would be November 4th,
Watch
if
this.
all goes well. That's listed in the RFP as described to town
We have to
council.
interview them, so.
Not necessarily,
We'll do
we
the best
can,
we
we can determine that as a committee, but we have an interview deadline date as set forward in the RFP as well. That we would have to adhere to. We don't want to delay, they already have too much of a short time frame, and if we were to delay any further, everyone's gonna come in past the town meeting deadline that's been set. And I don't think we want to relitigate that, we just want to stay on target for our timeline.
What's next?
So I think Mr. Dr. Muse, did you provide an answer?
I mean, this is them saying that they can do this, so
Right.
it's, but you
If
gotta give
we
them
st-
3, but who knows if they can actually match up.
Listen to this. Listen to
However,
this.
based on the numbers that they're giving, they got highly acceptable.
He had no choice.
Oh
But
my
he tried
God.
to like help Bob.
Well, because mine's
it's
typed
typed.
out, so I know that's been throwing me off a little bit too. And then the overall impression of the proposals would be the last piece of criteria on this one. So I gave that a 3.
I gave it a 3 as well, especially compared to the other proposals, but also using the detailed, from the RFP, that if they do this, then you get a 3, and if you get through that, they got a 3.
2.
Well,
These people are auditing the
Oh
Capitol
my
Police
God.
for January 6th, and it gives them a 2.
Yeah.
So 13. So, Mr. Chair, would it be okay to compile a committee composite
Yeah.
score based on each
You're right.
each independent evaluation based on the criteria we just
You're gonna have-
established? If you'd like me to, Mr. Chair.
Be my guest.
And someone else double checks.
Yeah. Do you want to?
So the scoring was, if they got it done in 5 months,
Hang on. Go ahead.
Yep. If you get it done, this is the previous score, like 2 scores ago. So if there's a deadline, I'm not sure what the exact date is, but 5 months. I think it has to be done by April 1st. And so the company, Five Stones, came in and said, you know what, we can beat that date by 2 weeks. So if they come in on time, then that's acceptable, or that's advantageous if they come in on
Right.
time. They said they're going to beat it by 2 weeks, and Bob gives them advantageous. and everyone else goes highly advantageous.
Right.
But Bob refuses to budge because he
Lower
knows
the number.
the points are going to boost him up. And then on another company that's coming up, they said that they're going to be a week late, and Bob gives them a highly advantageous.
Right.
He makes up the rules.
Unreal.
Unreal.
Well, it's Bob's rules. Remember,
93
Bob's
is
law.
what I came up to,
Bob's rules.
for a composite score.
I'm gonna double check it while you go to the last one.
Mr. Chair, what would be the next proposal you'd like to review?
Which one?
Look at that. Pick one. He is like,
Let's go.
he's just like,
Yeah.
let Dave run with it.
With
And that's why it was a
CAER.
successful meeting.
He's laughing.
So 5 stones is done. This one still needs to be done.
Right. I think I'm going to drop off.
Yeah, no problem.
But listen, this has been great. I mean, this is really good for the audience. There's probably like another hour.
Yeah.
And it's really good. I hope people are witnessing, and I mean, I know they are. And these are the people that could be making decisions in your community. And this is unacceptable behavior. It's unacceptable performance.
Yeah.
And we could be losing money. And I'm sure we are with this kind of methodology.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you have somebody who just does what he wants because that's what he's done all the time. And look, in Canton, nobody's accountable. You know, the police department's not accountable. The select board's not accountable. The Randy Scollins isn't accountable. You know, so why not just do what you want? Because nobody's going to hold you accountable. And that just cannot be. So the more we all raise our awareness to what's going on in our own backyards, the better we will be as a country. And it's so, you know, I wish I could stay on, but I worked all day.
It's fine. Hey, listen, you gave me 2 hours. You gave me 2 hours of your time. Listen, I know you worked all day.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You need to go be with your family, get some rest. I appreciate it. Do me a favor, just keep me in the loop when these meetings, you know, come up, because I always forget or no one informs me. And if I have it off, I want to go down there and witness this in person. I live
I'm happy.
15 minutes from you, so you know, in the community, I will glad to go down there and rally and check it out in person. I want to be there. Again, Rita Lombardi, super Canton resident, standout, free Karen Reed community. A lovely person. I've gotten to know her over the last couple of months, and she is a friend, and she's a great friend of this channel. And Rita, I appreciate your time tonight. Go get some rest. I'm going to continue through here the next hour, and we'll catch up soon.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate it. And it's always a joy and fun to come on your show.
Yeah.
And I love sharing and learning. And everybody, we love you. And thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means so much to us. You keep us going. Brian, love you.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Get some rest.
Thank you.
Bye. Rita Lombardi. Great. Good stuff. All right. We're going to keep playing through the meeting here. We got about another 40 minutes. You all want to hang out? Let's get through it. And then tonight, at the end, what I'll do is I'll drop the link if anybody wants to watch it without my commentary. Probably going to be quiet here because I didn't get to see this whole thing the other day. And maybe we'll stop it a little bit, but we'll try to blast through the rest of this here. Hang out in the chat. We're having a good time here, and you know, we'll get through the rest of this. All right, here we go.
So for CAER, I noted their project management experience as unacceptable, 0, as they did not actually provide any similar types of services provided. Mr. Chair, what did you have?
Unacceptable.
0.
I also had unacceptable. The company was founded a year ago, and the owner seems to still be a current police officer. Or
Oh, you've got 3 people. Norris is an active lieutenant in Lebanon. Right. Scott Rathbone is a current lieutenant in Hanover.
Here we
Richard
go.
Mello is in Dartmouth running a health organization. And Tim Cohen is a former captain. They're all still actively working somewhere else. They've got 2 years' experience
Correct.
and none with an audit. They're unacceptable in everything.
Okay, let's go, let's.
Correct, so-
We agree, we
Mr.
agree.
Kelly, Dr. Muse?
Bob, we agree. Let's knock 'em off.
What was your ranking on that?
Wow, they all
That's the
agree.
way we get it done, Bob.
I also want to make it clear that if again,
All right, Sophie, thank you. No problem. Thank you.
The CVs, I was
I'll
very
keep the running
impressed with
total.
who they were, but unfortunately, to the four
Thank you.
corners of the RFP, they just didn't meet it. I encouraged them to keep plugging away, but unfortunately, they just didn't meet the four corners of the RFP.
And what was your rank on that?
Unacceptable.
0.
With that caveat.
Dr. Muse?
Unacceptable.
Project manager team, I also found it the same
Yeah.
to be unacceptable.
Same, unacceptable.
Mr. Chair?
I gave you unacceptable.
Thank
Right
you.
down the
He
line.
said all the way down.
Oh, okay.
Oh, 0's all the way down.
All the way down,
Okay.
unacceptable and everything.
I think these two are unacceptable all the way down too, so.
I thought we're tossing them.
Right, toss
Yeah,
them.
we're
Let's not beat a dead horse.
They don't have project management, they're out.
You know, just to be blunt, I ended up with a 2 composite score for them, where the other one I think I had a 19 for, so I think that probably is a toss. If the committee agrees, for the sake of time, we could move past this one.
Progress.
Woo. Amazing.
What's next?
And just by a show of votes, committee votes the motion to toss CAER.
Second.
Yeah, Joe.
Favor.
Aye.
Excuse me. Oh, God.
So who's next?
We can move on to effective law enforcement for all. If that's okay with you, Mr. Chair.
Fine with me.
In regards to project manager experience, again, the individual seemed well qualified, but I did not see that individual listed as project manager listing any municipal audits on the resume, so I would list that as an unacceptable.
I had the same rating.
I gave it an HA. I was impressed with they're working on the federal mandates. And I think they did list some other police departments that they had worked with. In fact, I think they listed quite a few.
I believe that was in regards to the staff and not the project manager. They had, I think there was maybe 2 or 3 different police departments that I can recall off the top of my head. One of them was an audit, one of them was a review, one of them was an independent evaluation. So there's really one audit that they conducted out of the 3 firms that.
Well, in any event,
were listed.
I want to stick with that.
Okay. Mr. Chair?
HA 3.
3.
It is interesting that firm is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit company.
What is that?
Effective law.
A nonprofit.
A lot of companies become no profit, but not intentionally.
So 2 zeros and a 3 adds up to 9 for project manager experience for the committee composite score on paragraph number 1, project team experience. I listed as unacceptable as they had 1 year or less with experience with audits.
Mine was the same.
In regards to the project team, not the company itself.
Right.
The company itself has had, I believe, that 1 audit I mentioned earlier. I'm sorry, what did you have?
The same.
Is it unacceptable?
Yeah.
HA.
Chair. Mr. Kelly?
I just gave it an acceptable.
2.
Same.
Dr. Muse was a 2.
Mm-hmm.
A 7 would be the composite score on project team experience in providing similar studies to municipalities.
I had a not advantageous 1.
The 1, I gave that a 2.
2.
I give that an acceptable.
2.
4 2s and a 1. That would be a composite score of 9.
Qualifications of personnel to be assigned to the project. I noted the personnel had limited experience doing this type of work. The actual project team of the company itself, and I gave that a 0 as unacceptable.
Yeah, I'm the same.
3.
I gave it an A, acceptable.
2, and 3. So 2 or 3, 2, 3 would be over to my left, and 0, 0 over here. So we have an 8 composite score. Time frame to submission.
Isn't number 5 next? 5?
So if we had a, oh,
5
sorry, did I
response.
skip that? I apologize. Response to technical scope. I ended up giving that a 2.
I gave it an advantageous. What's that? That's
A
2 as
2.
well. Yeah.
2 advantageous. Mr. Chair.
3.
I gave that an HA as well.
It was 3.
3 3s and 2 2s. 9 and 4 is 13. Move on to time frame from submission. If we stay in the 11/4 kickoff call as proposed in the RFP, I believe they have a 22-week date, which would put them in after the 4/1 due date of 4/7.
I think the initial report, I think, fell within the 20-week period. That was my reading of it.
And it was mine as well.
I think the initial report fell at 20 weeks.
22 weeks schedule.
I don't think I can.
22-week schedule based out from November 4th. I did the
Doesn't
math
have
on
an
that,
increased
changed the
speed
date to
on it.
7th, and that's beyond the April 1st deadline as listed in the RFP.
And they won't make it now anyway, because we're gonna be a little late. So they're probably right on schedule. I gave them a 3.
Well, if we're late, that only delays the timeline
Right.
even further.
So someone
So-
who comes in 2 weeks early is a 2, but someone who comes in late is a 3?
No, yeah.
It's all outlined in on, section number 9.
So the 3 makes no sense.
It makes no sense, scoring makes no sense.
So I
Well, it would be past the deadline, would be not advantageous
No, what I'm saying
or
is-
unacceptable.
What I'm saying is that with 5
But-
stones, they were coming in 2 weeks early and Bob gave them a 2. And now this one's coming in late and Bob's giving them a 3. So I don't understand that
And
rationale.
that's cut and dry, that's not subjective, that's objective.
The rules are right in the documents provided to us by town council and the chief procurement officer. So, everyone's entitled to their own vote.
Thank you.
So
I rated it at a 0.
time frame is a 0. Mr. Chair,
3.
highly advantageous to come in 2 weeks late.
Yep.
Mr. Muse,
If they're gonna be late, they're late, 0.
Yeah, Steve.
Can I ask what company it is, please?
effective law enforcement for all. I think I'm missing one, so
UA.
so that's a 3.
UA.
Unacceptable is a 0.
Yeah.
So we have a composite score, Mr. Chair being the only one that thought it was highly advantageous, as a 3. Everyone else was a 0. Overall impression of the proposal, which would be your overall composite score of the firm, Ms. Howley.
I gave it a 1.
1, Mr. Chair.
I mean, I don't mind speeding up. I'll take a vote here. It is getting late. I mean, we're only like 3 hours here. I can always drop the link if anybody wanted to watch this without my commentary. I don't mind speeding it up and getting to kind of the final picks. I'll just gauge the audience here. Do you want me to continue to play through like we have been? If you want me to do that, type a 1 in the chat. If you want me to speed up and get to where the final picks are, type a 2 in the chat. You guide me. Okay. I have no issue. I have plenty of time. Believe me, I have plenty of time. All right. So we got a 1. So they want me to keep playing through. So 1 is to keep playing through without skipping ahead. 2s are to skip ahead and get to the final picks. So we're about 50-50 right now. All right. A lot of people want me to just kind of play through. Twos, lots of 2s. Oh gosh. I should just put, let's do this. It's going to be easier to do it this way. Hang on. Let's do a voting system. I can't keep track of it. All right, let's see. Let me put a vote up there. Let's do this. Start poll. Okay. All right, so I put continue or skip. Vote at the top. We'll give this a second. The vote is 3-2. You guys vote at the top. Skip or just continue like we have been. I don't want to slow it down too much longer because it is a little bit longer. So 65% continue right now. Okay, I have no problem. It's going to be so close. Like they say, like the election, right? All right, continue. Almost 70%, 29 votes. We'll give it another minute. Another minute, and then all right, 66-34. Was still continue was winning. We'll give it another 10 seconds, and then I'm gonna shut it down. And then yeah, I can't speed it up. That's the problem. I can skip, but I can't speed it up. All right, it's 65-35. We're going to end the poll. We're going to continue. And I get it. It's late. If people need to drop off, it's not a problem. I appreciate everybody. We got about 39 more minutes left. We can get through this. Let's go.
Scully.
Let's go.
Well, I'm sorry.
Excuse me.
Step behind you. Which?
This would be number 7 of the overall impression of the proposal.
We'll get through it.
I'll give it a 2.
2, 4, 6, 8 total.
Change my 3 to a 2. I was looking at the wrong one.
Which one are we referring to?
7.
The time frame of 2. So 6. The time frame submission. You want to change your 3 to a 2.
I was looking at the wrong one. I can't get by my application if I don't.
10, 23. I'll just add these up with the calculator.
Have a good night. Thank you so much.
Composite score of 56 total for the committee. Would anyone like to double check?
Yes. Just 2 more to go.
All right, so effective law enforcement is done. This one is out. Del Carmen, you can move on to.
Sounds good.
If that's the will of the committee.
Doing all 5.
Mr. Chair, project manager experience for you.
You can put unacceptable on all categories.
Okay. Put you down to 0 for all of them. Mr. Kelly?
I'm going to do an acceptable. And again, I was impressed with the resume, but I just don't feel it fell within the parameters of the full contours of our RFP.
So a 1. Dr. News?
Honestly, wasn't sure what they were proposing, all total in terms of the outline, but someplace I could dig on a 1.
This specific one was the project manager experience, so that you have a 1?
Yeah.
Ms. Hallie?
Jack, did you say unacceptable?
No, I said
Oh,
1.
okay, I misheard it then, okay. I just thought.
No, and again, not to drone on
I
here,
wasn't
but
questioning.
again, very impressive resume, but
Yeah.
you know, I think he does a lot of training for police departments. In fact, from what I read, he trained every police chief within the state of Texas, which is quite a few police chiefs. But, you know, in terms of audits, I just didn't see it.
Yeah. I had a not advantageous, so 1.
And I had a 2, So a 5 score, project team experience, Dr. Muse.
1.
Mr. Kelly.
A 1.
Bob, Mr.
Zero.
Chair was a 0.
I know, right, Katie?
I also went a 0 for that.
Zero, and that was a 2, so that's a 4. Experience providing similar studies to municipalities. Ms. Hallie?
I have advantageous, he provided 3.
2.
3 clients with phone numbers as specified in the RFP.
Bob, Mr. Chair is a 0. Mr. Kelly?
Yeah, I gave it a 1. Kathleen, I agree. He provided the 3 names, but again, unclear as to what he did for those departments, whether it be training, auditing. No idea. So I couldn't go higher than a 1.
Dr. Muse?
2.
7 composite score. Qualifications of personnel to be assigned to the project. I gave them a 3. Ms. Hallie?
I gave it a 0 because, I mean, the main guy is a full-time dean at a state college in Texas, and then the main guy who I think would be doing it, and it's just the 2 of them, he just got his PhD, and before that he retired, so I just don't know how much. So just to explain that, that's why I gave it an acceptable.
Okay, so a 0.
Yep.
Mr. Kelly?
I gave it a 1. A lot of experience, but just not the experience we're looking for.
And
0.
Dr. Muse, 0, so composite score 4. Responsive technical scope.
I gave it an advantageous, and then they put together a good bid.
2. Mr. Chair was 0. Mr. Kelly?
1.
1.
1.
And a 1. I thought they did an excellent job detailing all 20 paragraphs of our scope and putting that into the scope. I ended up giving them a 3, so 5, 6, 7 composite score. Time frame to submission. To me, they said they would come in without any exceptions, but didn't provide any time frame, so I gave them a 2. Ms. Hallie?
I give him a 2 as well. Yeah.
Mr. Chair was a 0. Mr. Kelly?
I gave it a 2.
1.
1.
You know, there wasn't a specific time frame, so I'm not quite sure.
So we have a 7 composite ranking. Overall impression of the proposal.
I gave it a 0. I don't know how 2 guys can, I mean, they don't have the staffing, and it's a challenging project. Yeah.
Mr. Kelly?
I'm going to be consistent. I'll stay with 1.
Mr. Muse? Dr. Muse? 1. I did a 3, so we'll do, that adds up to 5. So 5. We'll come up with a composite score of 39. We'll let Ms. Hallie check that.
Oh, wow. It's gone?
Next would be Matrix on the list, if that's okay with you, Mr. Chair.
This would be the last one.
Yep. 3. Okay, 1 moment. 18. Chair was a 3. Ms. Hallie?
I'm sorry, I'm a little behind.
I'll skip you for now. Mr. Kelly?
I gave it a 3 as well.
Dr. Muse?
3.
I was a 0. They lacked any audit experience, the project manager.
Oh, no, they
I give it a 1.
A 1.
That's right. That casino was imploded today, I think, in Las Vegas. They tore it down. I remember seeing something about that. All right, about another 30 minutes. I love you all. Long haulers here tonight. Long haulers. We're gonna get there. Trust me. We're gonna get there.
So we have a 10 composite score.
I see that.
Did you check out this one?
Going
Yeah,
down to
that-
39
that-
checks out.
yeah,
We're gonna
yeah,
make
You
it
can
through
put
it.
it,
I
I should put it
promise.
over there.
And this one was Del Carmen. I'm putting them on top of each one, so at the end we can easily determine who the high one is. Project team. experience. Mr. Chair.
3.
Mr. Kelly.
I give that a 3 as well.
Dr. Muse.
3.
Ms. Hallie.
1.
I give it a 0, so we're at 10. Experience providing similar studies to municipalities. I provided a 1. Mr. Chair.
3.
Mr. Kelly.
I give it a 2.
Dr. Muse.
2.
Ms. Hallie.
1.
In my opinion on this one, it appears that they are a strategic review company. I think the last meeting you stated Canton does not have a strategic policy in place, plan in place where this could be like a good phase 2 thing, consultant to potentially review, in my opinion. But in regards to the ranking on this, I gave it a 1. So we come up with a composite score of 9 on that one. Qualifications of personnel to be assigned to the project, Mr. Chair.
3.
Mr. Kelly.
I give that a 3 as well.
Dr. Muse.
3.
Ms. Hallie.
I gave it a 1 because it's a mixed bag. Like one is only been 6 years experience, and then on the other end there's more, but it's just in a mixed bag to me.
And I gave that a 0. There were 7 staff members that have been have qualified law enforcement experience, but they're lacking audit experience. So composite score of 10. Number 5, response to technical scope of services.
I gave it a 0.
I gave it a 0 as well, Mr. Chair.
3.
Dr. Muse.
3.
Mr. Kelly.
2.
That's a score of 8.
Other question? Mr. Chairman, can I ask the name of this company that we just voted on?
Matrix.
Thank you.
That would be Matrix
Base.
Consulting Group, based in California somewhere.
San Mateo.
Time frame to submission. I give it a 2. Ms. Hallie.
I give it a 2 as well.
Mr. Chair.
3.
All coming to age.
Fine. I've been looking at so many time frames. What was their basis? How many weeks?
20-week time.
No way, I'm not
time
shaving
frame.
it off.
It's either, do they make it inside the,
They anticipate their report, as long as we stick to our kickoff meeting on 11/4, they anticipated 1 week before.
3.
Not 2 weeks. 2 weeks before would be a 3, as according to the ranking documentation. 1 week before would be a 2. That's how I understood it. But we'll give Dr. Muse a 3. And Ms. Hallie, today.
A 1.
Time frame to submission. 2, 4. We have an 11 for composite score, and then overall impression of the proposal, I gave that a 0, Mr. Chair.
3.
Mr. Kelly.
2.
2.
I have reasoning for that.
No, I'm just curious because some are so disparate from 0s to 3s, and yet there's a specific criteria. I can see like a 1-point difference. 3 points is so extreme.
It is extreme.
I found this company to be more of a consulting firm than an audit firm.
Yeah, thank you, Jody. I appreciate that. Listen, I want to thank everybody, everybody that reached out and left a message or some kind words. Um, 13 years ago on October 8th, yesterday, my brother took his life and just gone too soon. And I appreciate all of the people that messaged or supported. It's not something that I normally, would put out there and talk about. But it is, something that happened in my life, and it was a very significant, event. And I just wanted to make people aware that things in life don't get that bad. And I know some people can get in a situation where things are really bad. But I want everybody to know there is help. There is friend. There is a family member. There is a way out. There are people you can talk to, and there are professionals that you can talk to. And I just urge anybody that is feeling down or bad or not well to get help. Even if you have to reach out to me, I will give you a phone number of someone that you can call. Nothing gets that bad. And it's the thing with it just leaves a lot of open questions. And I've been through that. My best friend was murdered, so I've been through that. So I've gone through a gamut of emotions and things that have helped, that have happened. That's what I meant to say, happened in my life. And, there is help. Trust me. But I appreciate all of you that have reached out. It wasn't something that I was going to post, but I just felt that it was very profound in the moment to let people know, and bring awareness to the situation. But thank you. From the bottom of my heart, everybody that did reach out, I appreciate it. And, it's, it shouldn't have happened. It's just, it's really sad. All right, my friends, we got about 28 minutes left. I love you all. Let's get through this and see what the results are. Thank you. We're on a marathon stream here today. I appreciate everybody being here, and I love the chat. Thank you so much. We've all been through a lot. We've all been through a lot together, and we grow, and things happen in our lives. Not necessarily of just losing someone, but there are situations in our lives when things don't work out, or you lose a friend, or you lose a lover, or whatever it may be. We all go through our own struggles. We really do. And that's why I like coming here, because this allows me to escape my everyday life for a few hours. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. But this is my escape from reality, I guess, for a little while, to come here and spend this time with all of you and do something productive in life, to spread awareness, to learn something, to be educational, to be entertainable, to have a laugh, to have a smile, to cry. I mean, I think I've done all those emotions on this panel. I'm not afraid to show my emotions. I'm not afraid to talk about certain things. I'm not afraid to put everything out there. I'm a very open person, and I've gotten very comfortable being here. And I think there's going to be great things for this platform. I really do. I really, really do. It's the fire in my belly to keep this going. There's many times that I've wanted to get up and walk out of here, and I literally, right there, right over the door, I have a sticker that says, "Never give up." Never give up. And I don't plan on it. So I will be here. I don't care if it goes down to one person watching. I will continue to plug away on this platform and grow this channel and make it awesome for people to be here. So thank you all. We will get through this. We'll get through this. And I love all the love in the chat. I see it. And that's why you're all here, and I really, really do appreciate it. I do. You know, we've all been through it. We've all been through it. Clarissa, thank you. We've had a lot of conversations. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being a mod. Jessica, thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you. No, you guys are all awesome, because if you're not here, it doesn't make the channel go. But I do. I truly appreciate it. And I've said this over 1,000 times over. I am so blessed to be here. I would have never thought that I would be in this place right now, my HQ, and being able to do this for all of you. I mean, this is something that I started in my bedroom, and, you know, and we're here now, and I have the ability to do a lot of cool things in here. And I have some projects coming up that I'm very, very, very proud of and very excited for. And if you weren't here in the beginning of the show, and I'll let everybody know, Collier Landry and I are going to be working on a project together. We are going to put a channel together, and we're going to plan on doing live shows to start off once a week. We're going to give it like a 90-day run and see what kind of people we bring in, what kind of stats we can pull. And we have a good plan. We're just working on getting a name for the show. We have a good outline of what we want to do on it. It's not going to be true crime. It's going to be, you know, human condition and everyday life and mental health struggles and everyday struggles that people go through, and positive things that we can talk about as well too. So we're very excited about it. He pitched the idea to me, and I want to work with him. But that will be a separate platform. We are going to use my second channel because it's already monetized, and we'll probably end up dumping all the content that, you know, I've been just uploading clips to that channel. The channel name will change. We're going to get some full graphics up there, and we're going to work together and see what it does through the holidays, and look at it, you know, the first of the year. And if it's in a good, positive direction, we're going to go for it. And I will continue to do things here on LTL. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving here. I'm not giving this up. This is my home base. He's going to keep his home base, but we are going to collab together. And I was really excited that he reached out to me because, you know, after that live we did the other night, he said, dude, we had fucking great chemistry, and I've been kind of looking to do a show together. Would you want to do this? And I had no hesitation. I went, absolutely. So we will be, you know, collabing soon. So we're just trying to come up with a name, and we've thrown, oh, look at this. There he is. Look at that. So yeah, Collier, thank you. I appreciate it. And the cat's out of the bag. Yeah, I let the cat out of the bag. Yeah. But, you know, it went really well, and I'm very excited for it. And I was like, the minute that he said, let's do this thing, I literally was pitching names to him like immediately, and he probably got sick of me for a second, but I think it's going to be great, and I look forward to it. And I think we have a lot to give the world. I really do. And, you know, I've gotten to know him over the last couple of months and learn about who he is. And we had a very long, transparent phone call today, and it went really well. So, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. And I think we have a lot of things that we can do together. And thanks for popping in, by the way. I didn't know you were here. But we're going to get it going. We're going to get it. Two dudes talking. Everybody's throwing the names out. We're pitching some names. We're trying to come up with something kind of hooky and catchy. And, you know, I just want to make sure that it's very listen, you know, I'll be very transparent. Collier has a much larger presence on social media. He's worked that and done very well. He's a filmmaker and done a lot of successful projects. I mean, for crow's sakes, the guy did a TED Talk. That's pretty cool. And he's been on Dr. Phil, which is awesome. And, you know, I want to make sure that it's something very in tune and, you know, in line with his brand online. And I made that very apparent to him. So we'll work through it, and we're going to get it going. And I think it's going to be awesome. So let's continue this, my friends. Another 38 minutes here, 28 minutes. We're going to get through the rest of this live. We've done a marathon, about 3 hours and 15 minutes. We will get through this. I want to thank Jen O'Donnell and Rita jumping on at the beginning of the show. Everybody's exciting in the chat. And please do me a favor, everybody, because let's get this video going a little bit more. You all missed a fantastic live with me and Collier the other night. It's literally an hour. Just go watch it after the show. I'm going to drop it in the chat, or you can go over and look in my live section on my homepage and check it out and watch that awesome chemistry between me and him. So awesome. Thank you all for sharing your stories. I love you all. Let's continue with the Canton audit and get through it and see what the selection was.
So, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, was it 3? Mr. Kelly? 2. 2. 2.
Thanks, buddy. I
Sally?
appreciate
I
you.
gave it, I
You didn't have to
I
do
gave
that.
a
Thank
zero
you.
ranking because of what you just mentioned, but also there's some sloppiness. Like on one page, it says the firm was founded in 2003, and on another page, it says 2002. So it kind of made me a little leery.
That gives it a composite ranking, committee composite score on that item, number 7, as a 7.
Question, please. Can I ask if any of the board has any experience with these companies before this?
It's well worth
I've
the watch.
never heard of any of these companies.
100%.
Same. Thank you.
I have no experience. I sent out submissions to several lists of bidders. I believe this is one of the lists I sent out. But I ranked them based on their criteria, and obviously I didn't rank them.
Just to follow up, all
as
of the
highly
companies
as.
tonight?
Yeah, and I love your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no knowledge of any of these companies or never met
I don't know.
anybody,
Same.
never been paid by them.
One of these companies that was referenced, I noticed in one of the team members worked in the same department I worked with. I never heard of him. I made calls. Nobody ever heard of him. I think he was a very, very short-time member of the department. Never heard of him, never met him. Don't know anything about any of these companies.
So thank you for your.
Collier, I don't
Thank you for your question.
I don't know where you're at really quick, but if you want to jump up really quick, you can. I'm not saying you have to, but if you want to, I'll drop the link there for a second. If you want to pop in and say hi to everybody, absolutely, you can do that. I'm just going to keep playing through the meeting. And
So I believe that concludes the composite score compiling of all 5 of our proposers. 1 we tossed. We're left with 4.
yeah, take your time, bro.
The highest rank one being 5 Stones at a 93. It appears that we have a tie for second with Effective Law Enforcement for All and Matrix Consulting Group. And the last one,
I'm getting something different. I'm 1 off, so I'm getting 55.
I did that one in my head, so I may be.
Thank you.
I did it twice.
Oh, you might be right.
Yes.
I was doing it quick. I'm sorry.
So we have 56 for both Matrix and.
I'm sorry. So Matrix comes in at a 55.
Thank you, Kiki.
So
Effective law enforcement comes in at 50.
Yeah, Jody.
Effective law enforcement.
Do me a favor. Why don't you do this? If you can, and I know this is a lot to ask, but if you have the time, compile a list of the firms. I just don't have time to go back over it. But if you know who they are, or if there's a list of them out there, get the list to me, email it to me, and I'll look into them. I know 5 Stones is very reputable. Rita spoke very highly of them. But I would love to look into them a little bit more too. I don't know if any of this information should be public. I don't know if it's in a document or a Word folder on the Canton website. It could be, but if not, I'll ask Rita. Maybe she has the information on them, and I can possibly check them out. That's not a bad idea. All right, my friends, 25 more minutes.
Second out of 56. So to start from the top level, we ranked. The committee ranked 5 Stones the highest at a 93 composite score. Effective Law Enforcement for All came in at second with a 56 composite score.
Thank you, Jody.
Matrix
Great.
Consulting Group came in at third with a 55 composite score. The Del Carmen Consulting LLC company came in with a 39 composite score, and the committee decided and voted to toss out CAER as unacceptable proposal.
Can I
So-
just ask you a question, because I added up Matrix and I got 60. So I had 10, 10, 9, 10, 8, 11, 7.
10, 10, 9, 8, 11, 7.
Just have somebody else check it, I'm sorry.
10, 10, 9, 10, 8, 10, 11, 10, 9, 10, 8, 11, 7 is 65.
9, no, 10, 10, 9, 8, 11, and 7.
10, 20, 40.
So you have one too
50.
many 10s in there?
It's 55, yeah. It's 55.
It's 55. It is 55.
So there's 7 pieces of criteria. Project manager was a 10. Project team was a 10. Experience providing similar audits was a 9. Qualifications to personnel was a 10. I may have missed that 10, the way it's off in the margin.
Oh,
Yeah, so I did miss a 10. I apologize.
thank you.
Thank you for correcting.
I want to write down the right hand.
It was off in the margin, so I didn't put the 10 over there.
Read the scores again?
Yeah, so I will reread the scores. So Matrix comes in at a 65.
Okay, and then.
So number
Law
one.
enforcement is correct at 56.
Correct.
Okay, and Delcom is 39, and CARE is out.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
So again, number 1 is 5 stones. 2 is going to be Matrix. 3 is going to be effective law enforcement, and 4 is going to be Delcom. Thank you. Okay, so now we are on to the next agenda item, right, Mr. Chair?
Yeah. We'll be looking at open the price.
Thank you, Jody.
We ready to move into that?
Yeah.
Motion to open the price proposals.
Seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So are we doing them in the order of the,
Yeah, I've got 5 stone here.
okay.
Oh, Scott, you got to go back and watch mine and Rita's commentary. It was great. I know you came in a little later, but you can get back and watch it. Rita was great.
198,000.
Thank you, Becky.
Wow.
Number 2 would be Matrix.
Matrix.
Wow, that's storm.
199,000.
Is the $200,000 budget? 199.
Well, so far that's a good sign for not needing supplemental funding on the top 2 proposers.
All right, the next is effective, right?
That's correct.
So we're hearing the budgets now, the proposal budgets that they came in with. Remember, it was a $200,000 budget.
200.
Right at 200.
5 monthly installments of 50 grand. That's 250.
All right, let's bring in this handsome man. I'm being out handsomed right now.
That's funny. That's
I'm being
funny.
out handsomed right now. Well, you have the hair. I don't have the hair anymore. Your hair is, oh my God. I had hair like that. I mean, if the ladies want to melt, I mean, there you go. I mean, yeah, look at, we already got swoon right now. I don't have the hair anymore.
Yeah, the hair was a mess, so I was like, I'll throw on the ball. Oh man, look at that! It's out. It's over now. You ain't got no hair. I didn't. You shouldn't have taken. You should have taken the hat off before I agreed to this.
So Collier, we had an amazing live the other night.
We did.
And I've gotten to know you over the last couple of months. I think we started talking back in June. We did like a recorded live about Karen Reed, the episode that you need to get out. But we've kind of stayed in contact ever since that.
Yeah.
And I knew of your story. I didn't want to like approach you in that way. And I just said, I really want to, I see something here. I've been watching his lives and I see something here, super talented, filmmaker, done a ton of things in your life. And, we just kind of got to know each other back and forth. And I said, you know what, I'm going to have him on my show. And now I want to hear his story. So that's what we got the opportunity to do that the other night. And I thought it was really cool because you said, I knew when you said, I have an idea, I go, he's probably going to want to do a show together. And then, we talked today and you said, hey, let's get something going. And I'm like, absolutely. Yeah. So,
yeah, I just think, we had hold on, I gotta make sure all my levels are up here. I don't know what's going on. Good. Yeah, I just kind of, we had a really great rapport when we've talked first. We spoke over the phone. We talked on the show. Then we talked on the show the other day, and for me, it's I feel like this space of true crime, which my feelings about this. A lot of people know my feelings.
Yep.
I it's a mixed bag, right? I think anybody that's sort of thrown into this world in the way that I've been, you've had your experiences in it. There's a lot of, and that's why I love this new Joker movie so much, because it has a sort of a social commentary aspect to true crime and our obsession with the salaciousness and things like that. But we won't get into that. But I thought, okay, like I enjoy talking to like another guy and not like and like a man, like a dude, you know what I mean? Like to discuss these kind of things that I think are really cool. There's so many podcasts that I listen to or that I'm aware of that just they dance around it and they're all kind of going for the salacious, and it's just really nice to have like really genuine, authentic conversations with someone.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I think we can do that, and I think we can work that out. Then I'm logging onto YouTube to just check messages. I see that you're live. I'm like, let me click on his live, and then you're talking about me. I'm like, oh great. So now, all right, cool. I guess we got to just yep, here we go. All right, let's do it.
And that's the weird thing about all of this is that people don't understand. Through our kind of friendship, our journey, there will be like moments, and I know this is really weird, and I'll be like looking through like my Instagram story. I'm like, oh, there's Collier. What's he up to? And I'll watch like his live or something, and then all of a sudden he'll like text me, and I'll go, dude, wait a minute. And he's like, what? I go, I was literally just flipping through my Instagram story. I saw like you were doing something, or picture a dog or whatever, and he's like, that's weird. And then like, this is what's been kind of happening. It's just been odd. And I don't know, I kind of listen to the vibrations of the world, and, they said, hey, let's get these guys together and try something out. So we're working on it. We're going to come up with a name for the channel. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and then what did we learn today? Speaking of these weird vibrations and stuff, right? That we're 18 days apart.
Yeah.
We're both Pisces. And I was telling a friend this morning, I was like, because it was like, hey, how'd it go with Brian? The other night, I was like, I got this weird feeling because we have this, we'll text each other, we'll have this sort of, I'm like, I think he's a Pisces. I think he's a water sign for sure, but I think he's a Pisces. And then there you have it.
But we, like, again, I want to make sure that people understand, the show that we put together is going to be kind of off brand of what we're doing both on our channel. It's going to be probably more current events and life events and healing process and tragedy and way to get through that. So that's kind of,
but I think it's also just discussions of just like, hey, what's going on in your day?
Yeah.
What's happening in the world? How did this affect you? I think those conversations are important, and I miss having those conversations. I think there's a need. I think there's a. We'll see where your numbers are. Your numbers dropping off, or now he's rolling on and on. Here we go. Now it's 300, 200, 100. No, I think there's a need for authentic conversations between men, between confident men, between men that are compassionate, that look at the world in a different way, right? I think there's a lot of I don't want to get into all this, but there's a lot of Andrew Tates out there.
Sure.
And there's a lot, and then there's not a lot of people. There are a lot of people who are compassionate and who want to express that to the world, but they just don't, right? And they sort of get drowned out by the noise of other people. And I think that it's important for us to lift our voices, to talk about things that are interesting to us, that are relatable. Even something as simple as looking at a case and saying, we talked the other night. I mentioned the thing on Court TV. And seeing the brother and sister get a 55-year life sentence or whatever they got handed down, that's their life. And you look at these things, and because we met talking about Karen Reed, and your connection is much different than mine. You're from the area, you talk about it, you have this unique perspective. And I discovered your content because I was looking at the outside the courthouse videos and just going, wow, like this is wild. But it's interesting to see how these life events just bring all of us together, and having conversations about that, I think, is really important.
I always say it all the time, since I've been on this platform, I've been blessed to enter people's lives that I never would have thought of,
right?
Like I never would have thought that I'd be sitting here on a panel with you. And the thing that's, and just going back saying, being out to the courtroom and capturing all the Karen Reed stuff. And it's like, knowing that you live that, you went through that. It's really interesting as well. And, it's such a different dynamic, when I tell people about what you see on TV and when you're actually there, your brain just translates it so different because you're sitting in the moment's reality versus watching it on TV. It's just a different experience, but it's
I think it also, a lot of it gets lost in I think a lot of this, and again, this is like why I saw this movie last night. I'm thinking about it. And so a lot of it gets lost and I always say this on my show, and I know you feel the same way. Like, these are real people's lives. Like everyone has the luxury of watching it, talking about it, consuming the content, and you go, then they turn off YouTube or they turn off the TV and they go and they just go in and they just make dinner, or they go play with their kids, or they go shopping, or whatever. That's not their lives. And I think that if there's a way to express to people, like it's totally cool to talk about it and to consume the content, but to understand that these are real people. Yeah. These are with real consequences. And I think when everything, constant update, court TV, this court TV, this murder, it's, I always feel like take a break, like remove yourself from that because you become desensitized to it,
Yeah. I think that's why Karen Reed really resonates so much in this community, because people, the consensus here is this could be you, and I think people really have that personal connection to it because it can be you, and what's going on with her can be you or me or the next person behind us. I mean, the community that has surrounded the Free Karen Reed movement, I mean, there's standouts every Sunday, every Friday. I mean, every Saturday. I mean, there's literally standouts every weekend. And there's, a bunch of people that will go out in all areas of across Massachusetts. And now this is national standouts as well, too, that happen consistently every Saturday and Sunday. There's always a standout. So if I'm, off and I don't have anything to do, I like to just surprise, and I'll show up in an area and stand out for an hour and just really connect with the community. And it's cool. It's a cool feeling. People really have taken this in and kind of.
I think too. I think it's very hard for a lot of people to relate to. A doctor that was, from my case, a doctor that murders his wife, right? That's just like so extreme, right?
For sure.
I think that it's so hard for people to relate to somebody who grabs a firearm and goes into a school, right? Like, I mean, hopefully they can't relate to that, right?
Right.
With Karen Reed, I think that, and again, when somebody was telling me about the case a year ago, they're like, and I realized she's from Mansfield, Massachusetts. I'm from Mansfield. I think it's a super weird parallel there, but we won't get into that. But I think that what really grabbed people, and even just discussing this, because I started talking about it on my channel, and then my friends that work in Hollywood are like, messaging me like, "Have you heard about this thing?" I was like, "Yeah, just go to my channel." Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yeah.
They're like, "Can you believe that?" I'm like, "Well, yeah. Like this is what makes it so relatable, is that this could happen to, unfortunately, this could happen to anyone."
Mhm.
And I was talking about it, from the beginning, but like, this is what minority communities have been talking about
Yeah.
forever. Like for decades. This is nothing new to them.
Right.
I live in Los Angeles. Like Rampart, the Rampart is internationally known for its corruption, and it's very real. And then I ended up connecting with people who who had grown up in my community, who now live in Canton, that messaged me and then to say that you have no idea. You have no idea what's going on over there. I mean, you do, because you're from Mansfield, from a small town, but it's as bad as you think it is. And I'm like, man. And I think that's the thing is that it's nice to see when people relate to a story and can put the human aspect of like, oh, this is what it is. I mean, of course, there's plenty of people that also dehumanized Karen Reed. And look, I don't know her from Adam.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I can't speak to her character or anything like that. I've never met the woman. I have no idea. However, it is wildly inappropriate to judge anyone for their guilt or innocence based upon their apparel in court.
I know.
Or the look on their face as they're sitting there in a trial for I'm sorry, like there's a camera pointed. If the camera followed us all day, trust me. You see some weird shit on my face too, So it's I liked how it just grabbed international attention. I mean, look, we're in these like docu-series that are going to come out, right, about Karen Reed or something like that. And we both, like, I'm sure, it's grabbed the world,
Yeah. It's wild, and it just gets wilder and wilder around here. I mean, the local politics in Canton, where I was just going through the police audit tonight, and I'm not surprised anymore when something else, some bombshell drops or something else happens. But I said this before a couple of lives, to my live audience. I'm just getting tired of every single time I turn on my camera, I have to talk about another thing that has happened or surrounded this case in a very negative way, or we have someone else that dies. We just had a police recruit that died at the Massachusetts State Police Academy, Enrique Delgado Garcia, and I've been searching out and trying to find answers here, and it's such under close quarters. And they actually went on with graduation today, and they spent about 2 minutes talking about what happened at the academy. But you're going to sit up there in front of the world and talk about integrity, and you're going to talk about trust, and you're going to talk about we want to help and serve the community, when literally the recruit, the injuries that are described from his family, that he was literally sounds like he was beat to death. And now you're going to talk about trust, that we're supposed to trust in our law enforcement officials. It's tough, and we want answers, and we don't want this to go away. And this is very important, in that transparency is open up to the public here. This can't be swept away, because this is our academies. This is our police forces in this area that serve the public. Yeah. I'm afraid if I get pulled over, what's going to happen to me or the next person? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's I mean, it speaks to a larger, I mean, not to get all like morose or anything, but honestly, it speaks to sort of a larger, I think, epidemic of people's disconnection in society. I think a lot of these things come back to, our lack of connection. Now, you can blame that on the pandemic. You can blame that on social media. I would say it's kind of a mixture of both in this cauldron of sadness and sorrow. Like, we just don't connect in the ways that we used to. You know what I mean? And there's and it's like, oh god, the hair.
Well, when you went to the mall, you had to chase the girl around to get her phone number, and if she had a phone in her room, that was cool because I had one and she had one, and we could actually talk. And then we had to go meet and hang out. We don't do that anymore. We do everything so virtually now. So we lose that human connection and that the feeling of having someone in your life. Everything is just done virtually now. And that's why I said the other night, I said, dude, I know and I hope that I get the opportunity someday to like literally shake your hand. Like we don't do that enough. We just don't do that enough in society anymore.
Yeah, and it's also this like look, I mean, I don't know about you. I've resorted to the virtue thing, the online dating. Like what am I doing? And you just go, can't I just? And I don't mean to sound like anachronistic or old fashioned, but like, can't I just meet her at like a Barnes and Noble?
Yeah.
Can't I just meet at like a Whole Foods and just run into? Hey, how are you? Nice. Like, why does it have to be like? Why does it have to be this? Why?
I know. Are we getting too old? I think that's what's happening. Are we old fogies now?
No, we're not. We're not old fogies because I'm not old. We're the same way. We're not old. We don't. These are things we don't speak.
I'm just getting a little grayer than I want to be right now.
I'm like, embracing the grays now. I'm like, it's whatever.
So Collier's out in LA and he's got a pretty dope pad because his house is like footsteps from the beach. He was showing me a photo today. He's like, yesterday, he's like, or was it today? You go, everything is just gray.
No, it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. Yeah.
See his palm trees out there, and it's pretty dope.
I'm not footsteps in the beach. I'm a mile from the beach, but close enough. But
close enough. But you can see it. You can see it.
Oh yeah, I can see the ocean, and yeah, it's great. Yeah. It's great when it's not overcast. And we've had this low level fog. They call it the marine layer, and we've had that for the last like 10 days or something. It's been pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm kvetching about it. At the same time, it's like 70 degrees outside, and I do get to go down to the ocean, and I do get to have that luxury. So it's But our rainy season is upon us. Our rainy season upon us. And by the way, speaking of all that, anyone they just got a message from a friend of mine in St. Pete's. The eye wall of the hurricane came ashore 52 miles south of St. Pete's. We have been experiencing wind gusts. I'll just read this to you guys. Wind gusts of 94 to 100 mile an hour winds. Debris flying through the air. The storm is heading east as a Category 2. Heavy rain for 3 hours straight. We can hear the transformers popping, making explosive sounds. Flash flooding in downtown St. Petersburg. We have 14 inches of rain.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Here live.
Earlier today, we were on Bayshore Boulevard, and we were already seeing high amounts of water. Several sections of the northbound lanes were completely underwater as of this afternoon before we got all this. Kennedy Boulevard was already underwater. So big gusts of wind right there. You can imagine just what our roads are looking like right now as this moment. Now, of course, we stand out here and we look at the storm. We see
I'm going to drop
powerful
Collier's link in there. Connect to his YouTube channel. And then once we get up and going on the second channel, we'll be announcing it.
Of course, we certainly hope that the damage is not bad. We know that there will be damage. We already know there are power outages, but we certainly hope that everyone is staying safe. And tomorrow, once that sun comes up and we're back out there sort of assessing everything that's happened, I mean, I'm sure that we will just get a greater sense of just how powerful this storm was, guys.
Wow. Ariel, let me ask you again about the, very few people have been out on the roads, unlike you have. And you said Kennedy's got a good bit of damage, at least some water. Where else are you seeing some water on the streets already tonight? There's been an incredible amount of rain, so it wouldn't surprise us.
Absolutely. So, again, earlier this afternoon when we were driving around downtown, we were already seeing a lot of water on those streets. We saw Bayshore and Kennedy, but we made the decision to get off those roads because it simply wasn't safe. So those are the ones that I can confirm that were already underwater as of this afternoon. You can imagine, though, with this, there will be many more in our area.
Well, Ariel, Nash says that you've got sustained winds of 51 miles per hour outside right now, and so the gusts that you're feeling are likely even higher than that. So why don't you come back?
Yeah, they're in it. They're in it down there.
Oy vey. Oh man, what a and so I you know what I did today for the first time, and it was so like just ghetto jerry rig, but I did live call-ins, but I
Yeah.
didn't have it running through the computer because it
okay.
wasn't working. So I was holding the phone up like this, talking
Yeah.
to people.
Yeah, I called in and kind of broke the ice.
You called.
Trying to get people to call in. Trying to get people to call in. So
Well, but they've been asking me to do it for a while, like
Yeah.
my audience.
oh, we're
knows
doing it on our show.
for sure.
Yeah.
Just a Google Voice number, just have them call and you can turn it on and
Yeah.
off. But there's a way to connect it.
Yeah, I can actually do it through this. I can do it through my what do I have? I have the Roadcaster 2. You can do it right through the Roadcaster 2. So we'll be able to do it. I think it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
So there's an interesting thing that I learned about the Roadcaster 2. I was doing a podcast like a month and a half ago with these guys' studio, and they were having trouble with the audio. And I discovered that you cannot record individual tracks of audio on the Roadcaster 2.
Interesting.
Like, what is up with that?
Yeah, that's a little weird. You would think that it would be able to do all that for what
These
you're
are the
paying.
riveting conversations we're going to have on these.
Yeah,
shows,
yeah. Exactly. Listen, buddy, I've been on for like 4 hours.
It started 3 hours ago.
Yeah. I'm tired. I actually have to work tomorrow. I have like one of those things called a job that I don't like to go to, but I gotta go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wrap this up, but let's do this. I'm gonna drop Collier's link. Please make sure that you subscribe to his channel. Give him some love over there. He's on all the platforms. He spends a lot of time on IG, by the way. He does a lot of IG lives.
No, I don't spend enough time on IG. I need to spend way more time on IG, but
yeah, you do IG lives, and he does his nightly live show, and then we're gonna intersect here in about a week or two and start kicking off this other channel. We'll get it promoted. We're gonna get a name on there, get some branding up on it, and go from there.
Just wait till Brian comes up with the AI music.
Yes, we will
It'll be
program
awesome.
and get something going with an intro and stuff like that. Listen, as far as the audit, I just want to wrap this up for the audience. As far as the Canton audit, they basically were just going through the dollar amounts that the bids came in at. If you want to go back and watch the extra last 15 minutes of it, I'll drop it here in the chat. So Jody's going to send me the list of the 3 top picks. I'm going to do some research on the companies themselves. I'll get some information back to you. We'll do another live about this. I'll get Rita back, and it never ends. But thank you all for being here late tonight. We didn't quite make the goal that I like to kick back to Karen, so it'll be like $20 tonight. So I'm going to roll that $85 over in the next live. We'll get it to that $50, and then we'll kick it back to her defense fund. Collier, anything you want to say before we go out?
I'm stoked about what we're going to do, man.
I think it's going to be good.
I think it's awesome.
I think it's going to be great. How about that?
I
think it's going to be great.
Fucking fantastic.
Yes, and we'll respectively still be on both our platforms, but two worlds are gonna collide here, and we're gonna have a great, amazing time. So,
you know it. You know it.
Look at this. We got a super chat that came in. Karen Reed is innocent. Thank you so much for the $10. Said best of luck on the new channel. Genuine conversations from coast to coast with 2 hot, intelligent men. Say no more. I fully support you guys.
I love you,
Thank
Karen Reed is innocent, and your beautiful little Chihuahua wearing a little like I don't know. It looks like a Robin Hood sort of deal. A little green. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a leprechaun hat. Sorry,
the leprechaun hat. Yeah, it is a leprechaun hat.
I had LASIK too. What's going on?
So we're at 99. I will carry that over to the next stream, and then we'll take 25% off of that and go from there. So everybody, that's Collier Landry. Make sure to go over and subscribe to his YouTube channel. He has great content, great lives. Please go over to collierlandry.com and check out his documentary, A Murder in Mansfield. I talked about this the other night on my live. Literally, I was pulled in and captivated in 10 minutes. And I'm not just saying this because he's in front of me, but I was pulled in 10 minutes to his documentary. And I have to say, at least 3 times, waterworks. And the ending is very, very, very compelling. And I urge everybody, it's a very well shot documentary. I think it's a great healing session for Collier. That's what I got from it. And it's a great docu. It really is a great docu. So please go to his website, collierlandry.com, click on store, and you can watch the documentary, I think, for like $3. It's well worth it. It's worth the watch.
It is worth it. It is worth it. B, thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you.
Yeah. We'll talk soon. Love everybody. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a good night. Bye-bye.